Oy, Gewalt. Well, that's okay. This is the best media training anyone can ever receive in real time.
Yeah, I don't know if you're ever going to live that one down.
Honestly, I don't expect to, and it's okay.
Are you sure?
No.
I hope so.
I'm processing.
And it's not even out yet, too. That's the funny part.
I hate my life.
I'm trying not to, like, sidekick.
Oh, you good, you good.
First episode, guest gets knocked out.
Please don't.
Mic stand.
Please don't.
That should go viral real quick.
It's like, that's my friend. Don't do that. Don't do it.
I'm like, that's my brother. I'll
Don't
kill
do
you.
it. Yeah, right. Do not do that. You got his energy drink over there. What you got over there? What's in the bottle? I gotta know.
Oh, just honestly, just some like electrolytes, some like emergency type shit.
Oh,
You know what
I
I mean?
love that
Immunity,
Word,
baby.
okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's actually what I used to do before, like musical auditions. Emergency, hot water with honey, and cough drops.
Dude, I eat
Honey works wonders for your voice, too.
really
Like,
does.
I eat cough drops like they're Skittles.
You know those cherry Ludens ones? Like
Yeah.
I used to love those as a kid, and I thought they were candy. It's fine. It's fine.
I like the good ones or the white ones, the Halls, the white Halls. I don't know, the fraud, whatever.
The
Frost.
menthol ones?
I don't know. They're
That'll
just-
clear out your whole entire sinus passage.
Yeah, that's what I need. Those are the best. That's what I need.
In like in seconds.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I need. I'm like, that's what it says. Your nasal passages and
I mean,
everything
you're not
else. I'm
wrong.
like, that's what I need because my allergies suck.
I hear that.
Allergies suck. Like, I'm so over it. I'm tired of waking up every single day feeling like congested, like slightly congested.
Do you have allergies every
comes out
season
of
or
nowhere,
something?
too.
I do.
I have allergies every single day.
Oh man, I'm
It's yeah.
I know. I'm in my
sorry.
spring voice right now.
Like if I don't take my like Zyrtec, like after like 2 days, I'm like I can feel it coming. I'm like The Weeknd. I feel it coming.
Chris, you look horrified.
oh, I'm just so.
I've never met a specimen like
This
you
is one of
before.
it's one of those moments. It's one of those moments like oh man, I feel privileged.
Oh, you so
But you know
are.
what? I wouldn't trade it.
You know what? Good for you, honey. I am so happy
Sucks
for
for
you.
you, buddy.
I have all the allergies every season. I will.
Hey man, that's some
I
real,
can't relate.
yo, that's some real shit though. People got privilege. They're like, oh man, I'm so sorry, but I'm not giving mine up.
No, exactly not. Exactly not.
I'll take my seasonal all day. You got that 24/7.
I don't have food allergies though, so I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll
I don't
take
have
this
food allergies,
over.
facts.
Me either.
Yeah.
I'll eat
'Cause I'm a
anything.
foodie, so-
Wait, can we cuss on this or no?
Yeah,
or
you
no?
could.
You lucky bitch.
He's like, I got to go. Here we go. Fire off.
All right, cool. It's on now.
Well, I got to know the audience, right? You got to know
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
allowed. I just did one on Friday, but completely different demo talking
Oh, yeah.
to. So we got was very buttoned up.
Yeah, I mean,
Not that I don't
don't.
mind doing that either. It's just I like to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, don't go crazy. We want to try to get it to like some people, but
Yeah, no. It's very It's,
I don't try to censor people too much. People are,
well, I find cussing is if it makes sense, right? Like a nice curse
Right.
word
Yeah.
really emphasizes what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
I
You know
totally
what I'm
understand
saying?
that. Yeah. It's like with my music. Like anytime that I mean, I don't do it anymore, but like when I used to, like if I had a swear in there, it was like I'm making a point here.
Yeah, Yo, for real,
I can see that.
for real.
If I'm
You
just
don't
like,
swear in your music.
"Fuck!" Like it's coming out, like,
No, you know, I'm like,
and then you feel it, like, you're feeling it.
Okay, anyways, continuing forward.
I was gonna say because you said like I really don't swear too often.
Yeah.
I mean, way more when I'm chopping it up with friends and everything.
Yeah,
but I really like when I say things to really mean something. If I'm gonna like curse or like
Right.
say something with, a particular like energy
Yeah.
about it, right? Because like to me, swearing, it's the same thing as like I feel like everyone here is gonna understand this. Like, you know what I mean? Remember growing up and like seeing girls or guys like do this like in school, and you knew they were serious because they start talking with their hands.
Yeah.
You're not
yeah.
cursing or anything, but they start talking with their hand. It's like, oh shit, something's
Yeah.
about to go down.
Yeah. I felt like that was like harder than the actual swears.
Right?
You
No,
know, it's
Yeah.
like
because the
they mean business.
the more emphatic like the
Yes.
claps were, the more just like, oh man, they're really about to throw down right now.
especially when they repeat it, because like you have like the initial like listen to me, and then like the person responds and they're like, no, I don't think you heard me. This is what we're doing right now.
Do you hear me, bitch? Do you fucking hear me right now? What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know if I'm a clapper when I'm angry, now that I think about it.
I think I've done it like twice.
I feel
To be
like
honest, me
I'm more
personally.
apt to like when I'm excited and like going off about something, do it. But if I'm angry, well, all bets are off. I don't know. I could. I don't know. I black out.
I think I'm the single clapper. Like, yo, what are you doing? I'm just the one. I just do one.
Hey, you got into
Just
character
one.
real quick, so you definitely do that.
Yeah, you just that was a moment.
Yeah, because that's like a work thing. It's like a work thing too. So like I have to watch it because like I can't get crazy because you're not supposed to get crazy around kids, you know.
Yeah.
So like I always have to I have to dial it back. Like I probably want to do like multiple, but I'm like, oh, I'm at work. Stop it! What are you doing? You know. So I have to control myself because I've actually gotten written up for that. Like not clapping in front of a kid, but like excessively yelling at a kid. But I mean, it was.
Yo, that would be so funny if,
It was
I've actually
warranted.
got
if you got
for
written up
clapping
for
at a kid.
clapping. That'd be like the NBA equivalent of like looking at a ref,
Oh my god!
giving a ref a look, like clapping, like getting written up, being like, what?
Yeah.
So bad. It's so bad. Like you pass the ref the ball, they're
man.
like, "Dude," I'm
It'd
like,
be-
dude,
yeah,
come on."
it's the same thing.
It's so
It's
bad.
beautiful.
Yeah, I got written up because we had just come back from a field trip. And these were like 9, 10, 11-year-old kids. It was a super hot day. Like we were just done. Like I was hot. Like I was tired. It was probably like Canopy Lake. So like you do it all day.
That sounds awful.
So we get back, and I'm trying to get the kids off the bus, but I'm like, you know, we have to be quiet when we walk in the building. We have to like have some order, and they're just like not paying attention, still talking, whatever. So like I'm like, guys, like I'm waiting for you guys. Like, oh, I'll wait for you, and like I'm waiting, they're still just not paying attention. Finally, I'm like, listen, like I just like go off, and then lo and behold, a parent walks by the bus as we're still on the bus, windows open. And is just like ended up telling my boss, which like sucks because it's like you didn't see the whole detail, but at the same time, it's like I have to maintain myself. And she was like, "I know you probably didn't just like go off the rails on a whim, like first shot, but a parent saw it, and I do have to like write you up." And I was like, "No, I get it, it's whatever." But I was just like, I just lost it.
I think well, it's understandable. We're human.
Yeah.
It's really hard to, you know, at times keep your composure in the workplace for sure. Like, especially like where I'm at, like, I mean, you know, as you know, I'm a manager at Hannaford. Like, they kind of expect you to be like somewhat emotionless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, seriously.
Like, I don't know.
I feel that.
I like if I get pissed off at something, I can't show it or anything. Like, that's not healthy. To me, it's
Yeah.
not
Right.
healthy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I hate that.
It's tough, but
Yeah,
I know I hate that you have to be like kind of this soulless person
yeah,
at like certain jobs too.
right.
You just get to get all your energy out from working out.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe, I don't know. I'm not in your
you
shoes.
know, I have a lot of energy to get out, man.
Does it actually all get out within a singular day?
Probably not. No, I mean, it definitely doesn't. It depends on how tired I am, like overall. Like if I have like slept pretty well, I tell people, scale of 1 to 10, energy wise, I wake up at an 8, and you know what I'm saying. So like I gotta
Impressive.
Just
Temp-
an 8?
yeah,
Just an 8?
No,
I'm
seriously.
like-
Like so, I gotta. Most of the time, I'm toning it down.
Yeah.
For people, because I can hum like I have no problem revving that thing up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm already like I'm wired.
Yeah.
The minute people don't, it's packaged differently because I'm way better at controlling it now than go back like 10 years. So you know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, I got mad energy. So like a lot
And,
of
like-
times I'm like holding my tongue all the time. Actually, all the time, all the time.
That's a great thing too, and like, it helps like, you know, since you have like a mostly like clean diet for the most part too. Like if you're eating like healthy, like, you know, the majority of the time that plays a huge factor as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I
Yeah.
think I'd say my lifestyle in general really adds a lot to my patience bucket, if you will.
Yeah.
That's a
You
good
know what I'm
point.
saying?
That's
And
a good
so
point.
when I'm in like situations, whether it's like working or whatever, where I do have to hold my tongue or I don't agree with anything that's going on or really want to say something, but I know it's probably like, not going to come out right,
Yeah.
that bucket gets drained quick.
Yeah.
But luckily everything else really, helps add more, hydration to that well-being. I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. People think I'm like way more composed than I feel inside. You know what I'm saying? Like inside, I'm like I'm tearing things up. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm really like straight poker face, but I'd be ripping things up internally.
That's a skill, though. That's a skill.
It is.
I mean, I think when you're in enough situations that you aren't like that, you either learn or you don't.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true too.
Yeah.
Something
I feel
you'd
like
learn
you've
over
always
time.
had that though, or that's something about you that I identified very early on, and I always admired about you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Like I said, that's a perfect example. Giving me a lot of credit that I don't necessarily feel internally because it's always, fight on some David Goggins type ish, like fighting demons. And like it's when I say have learned, like I'm the type where like I will explode and I keep receipts. So if I'm coming with something,
Yeah.
I'm pulling all those things out.
Yeah.
So like I'm meaning because I rarely
yeah.
pipe up, and so like in the past, whether it was like very immature version of me, like in relationships or like getting in arguments with friends, it's brutal,
Yeah.
Yeah.
brutal,
I feel that.
You're
Like,
such an
brutal.
earth sign.
Coming for blood, huh?
I said you're such an earth sign.
Like coming for blood. No, I'm coming for blood
love
if
yeah.
if I'm mad about something.
Yo, that's
Because I
me.
never get mad. You know what I'm saying? So like if I really like explode,
Mm-hmm.
which I haven't, which is like super rare these days, but I guess fortunately got a lot of outlets to get things out in.
That's true.
But no, if I'm ever like exploding and like pissed or something, like oh man,
Oh, I feel that too.
Bro, I
Like,
walk out of
that-
rooms.
you and me both, man. Like I don't get mad. I have a very long fuse, but like if I'm pissed at
Once it pops.
you, like I'm getting in your face, bro. Like you're gonna need like 3 people to hold me back.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean.
se-
I'm gonna cuss you out.
Yo, seriously,
I'm gonna call you every name in the book.
Seriously though.
Not you, but I
You
mean.
know what actually gets me? You know what gets me going the most over the last like several years?
What?
Is and I gotta give context to this because
No, I gotta hear
in some ways someone could say this is cancelable, right? But it's men with too many feminine tendencies. What I mean by that is like
Okay.
if I'm like in a conversation with the man, because sometimes there's things like there's expressions when I say that, right? It's like oh, like man up, or like oh, stop being a you know what I mean, stop being a B, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm like trying to have a serious conversation with the man and he's getting in his feelings talking to me, I'm just
Yeah.
like, bro, what are we doing here?
Right.
I'm not breaking up with you. I'm not like saying we didn't go on a bad date or something, bro.
Right.
Just trying to have a
We're
conversation.
like
Yeah.
we're boys. What that? You know what I'm saying? Like what is
Right.
the issue? Like,
It's
that's like the most frustrating thing for me.
Yeah, it's like
Like talking to guys and it's just like, dude, come on, get out of your feelings.
Yeah, it's
right
like
now.
you're just sharing your point of view. Like,
Yeah.
why can't we like share our point of views without getting into it, without arguing about something? Because I don't know, it's just dumb. It's stupid.
100%. Like guys that are like catty, and it's just like that's we refer like when women argue. That's what we refer to being as catty, not guys. Like because I'm not trying to do that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Right.
So like.
Just trying to have a simple conversation.
Yeah,
and
no,
share point of
I've
views.
had like disagreements and things happen over the last few years with some people who would say that they're men, and I'm just like, man, if we pulled back the hood, absolutely not.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up too, because like that's something we don't really think about.
I think
Oh,
what
for sure.
happens
Yeah.
with me is that since I am a female, and if I am coming to someone just wanting to have a conversation, it's automatically like, well, why are you being catty? And
Yeah,
I'm like, well,
It's
I
already-
just
yeah.
wanted to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already assumed. like,
Yes,
right off
it's
the bat.
it's,
We're
it's
like,
weird how
no,
that works.
No, I'm just still trying to have a conversation.
Right, just want to have a conversation because we cannot clear anything up without communication. I don't
Yeah.
know, I hate, it's so annoying.
I love having
Right.
those conversations though, where like I've had conversations like with Ian, 13 ball, and like we've talked for like hours, and we've had completely opposite point of views, and we're just like bing, 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 bing,
Yeah.
and at the end of it, we're like, appreciate you, bro.
I
Cool.
love that.
Yeah.
I was
love
like,
that.
this is the most healthiest conversation I've ever had
Yes.
in my life.
Bro,
Right.
that's like an under.
That's what's cool about him. He doesn't get mad about anything. He
Oh, he's
just, you know,
like, your point of view is your point of view.
like, yeah, exactly. Right.
That's-
how it should be.
That's. I don't think people can really appreciate. Well, I don't think many people can really appreciate that if they've never had that type of interaction with someone where you are just disagreeing so much, but you can be like, you can shake hands, agree to disagree, and be like, all right, we can just keep it moving. Like, that was,
Right.
like, you know, what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, that's so difficult sometimes. I feel like for some people that to be able to lose, like, not necessarily lose, but not win.
Yeah.
The you know
Right.
the conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
like
Or,
a
or the
ends in a
debate,
stalemate.
or the conflict. Like people always, I feel like, try
Yeah.
and win something that any type of conflict going on.
Yeah,
And it's
people
you know,
just wanna be
dude,
right, like, all
we
the
can just
time.
we
But
can
I
just keep
think-
going. Like we can just keep this moving. We're just gonna be water under the bridge.
Yeah.
Your side of the bridge doesn't have to be more built up than mine. We can just keep this going.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I think people forget though to like have an actual sound argument, and by argument I don't mean like negative words. I just mean to have a solid debate. You need to be able to hear the complete opposite side and understand where they're coming from if you are expected to articulate your side as well. And
Yeah.
I think obviously, especially with certain like hot button subjects, like yes, it can be push buttons or triggers or whatever, and people get caught in their feelings
For sure.
and then cannot sit and truly listen from a baseline place, because they're some, especially with certain topics, you just say one word and that person's not listening anymore, they're just responding.
Yeah.
And now we're in a power struggle. And it's that's so tough, because I'm the type of person, like, I love conversation and I like to hear where other people are coming from, especially if it opposes my view, because I think it's really important to understand the other side. So it gets tough when you want to explore those things with certain people and it's just like walls up, and
Yeah.
then you
Yeah.
can't really get anywhere, and you're like, oh, well, I mean, I wanted to learn, but
Yeah,
I
it's
guess.
people listening to respond versus people listening to understand,
Yeah.
which is different. It's big difference.
Facts.
And that was like what Ian and I had. And the crazy thing is too, is we were talking about faith and religion,
Oh,
and it was
okay.
still like,
Oh, that's such an inflammatory topic as well.
you know,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain things, and then he's trying to explain his side, and you know, it was literally just a ping pong thing back and forth. And at the end of it, it was just like, I mean, I don't fully it was like, I still have my point of view. I still maybe don't fully understand, or, maybe necessarily agree, but we're
Yeah.
appreciate you, man.
I think what's important is the respect, though.
Yeah,
You
I was
still
like,
completely maintained respect for each other
Yeah.
in it, and if anything, you got more understanding, and your relationship is probably stronger because of it.
yeah, because I went into it too. Like my experience with like my faith, my religion, whatever you want to call it, is very different than his experience that he went through. So like I can't judge what he knows, what he's understood, what he's heard, and vice versa. So it's like, I had to go in that way, and and that's how I try to do it with, especially now the way my head is that's how I have to go into conversations, because I don't know what you've experienced with this particular topic. Not, aside from religion or anything else, just any general topic. Like, I don't know what you've been through. Like, if we're talking about basketball, like, I don't know if you've ever watched a basketball game before. Like, how do I know you know what a 3-pointer is or what a technical foul is? Like, I have to, like, go into the basis, like, not assuming what you know, but, like, asking questions to get to
Right.
that point to understand.
sure.
So where are you on this kind of scale?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Something I've loved to tell people is like, I like to say that I'm dumb. I know that I'm not, but it's just there's always more to know in conversations. Like you don't know what you don't know. Right, there's plenty of people that you're going to come across that have way more valuable information that you could use.
Yeah.
Right, and sometimes you can even hear things from sources that you didn't expect that you can learn a lot from.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the important part is being open to it, because
for sure.
if you could be in an environment where you're surrounded by so many like value adds and so much talent or what have you, but if you're not open to it and you're not like in that frame of mind, it's kind of a waste.
Yeah.
Well, people can only receive information to the extent that their emotional intelligence will allow.
And what they're exposed to.
Yeah.
If you're never
both
exposed
are.
to it.
That was a beautiful statement. That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both go hand in hand. I think I saw Kevin Hart, this clip of Kevin Hart one time, and he said the most profound thing to me. He was talking about how people, when they are giving an emotional, like a really emotional response to something, that has nothing to do with you. And what that highlights is that shows that they have never grown out of the time in their lives.
That's true,
That emotion that they're showing started.
Yeah.
There's some time, there's somewhere in the timeline when people are giving you an emotional response, it just highlights something they've never grown out of. And I
Yeah.
Wow.
my mind was so blown. I watched that clip back like 20 times.
That's me right now.
Right? I was just like,
Yeah.
what?
that's
And all of a
so-
sudden,
Yeah,
that
that's
actually
wild.
cleared so many things up for me, and it made me feel so much more at ease.
Yeah.
When I started thinking about certain people that coming back to like interactions we have, right? That would make me so frustrated. I'm just like, why do these happen like this?
Yeah.
That's one of the things I had to learn with my job with the kids. It's like, you have like, for example, you always have those like tough kids that are just like acting out, causing trouble, doing whatever. And like I used to be that person, like, oh man, this kid is just terrible, like just born like just evil type of thing. But then like, as I grew into my job and I understood what childcare was and got into the, psychological piece of it, it's more like, you don't know what these kids are going through.
They're
like
hurting.
maybe their parent has been deployed, like their dad has been deployed, so they haven't had that father figure to really like nurture them up, or their mom has been deployed and they haven't had that mom in the picture, and they're just acting out because their dad's gone again, and they just miss them. Like we have one kid, not to put his business out there, but like his mom passed away. Within, I'd say within a year. So like he's got a lot of like frustration, and I always have to like take myself back. Like it's not me. It's him dealing with those emotions, and he has a brother, and his brother is handling those emotions very differently. So it's like, you just don't know how people are processing that particular moment or what they've been through, or just the circumstances that they're in. Maybe they're a kid that just, does, like we have another kid, again, not to put people's business out there, but they steal stuff. And it's like, maybe they at home, they don't get certain things. So then they feel the need to steal stuff or react a certain way. So it's like kind of the same thing. You never know what underlying things people are going through that cause them. It's learned behavior. It's not things that they're just like, they woke up one day and they were like, I got to steal something.
Especially with kids as well. That's really interesting, because I'm sure it's from the military perspective as well. Like there's so much more in the background, child to child.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Right, at play.
No child is the same.
Because let alone like every family not being the same, every military family, it's not like they're all, going through the same things or reacting to this, the same deployment.
Yeah.
Right. There's no way they'd all react the same.
They're all different. Yeah. So like, to go to your point, it's like, you never know what people are dealing with. Like you really have to get to know them, have a conversation, like understand like what's going on in the background.
Like one of the main themes in most of the classes that I facilitate at my work is that, like, digging below the surface and asking those questions, because people's behaviors are direct indications on like what's going on in their internal world. So when you do take a second and you're not personalizing their actions and you just ask a couple of questions to see what's going on, it's more oftentimes than not, something's popping off in their life.
Yeah.
Or there's there's just something going on that they're not talking about. I mean, same with adults too, but especially with children. But I think, it's just like the follow-up questions that are important, and not assuming, or if you do make assumptions, like catch yourself. I think it's important to at least catch yourself. We're human beings. We are filled with implicit biases. We're always going to make assumptions. Like, that's just what happens. But I think it's important to just catch yourself and like stop.
Yeah.
About to get real deep, but I'm curious now with all of you. Is there something that you can recall that you had to really grow out of? That took you years to realize that could be a behavior pattern, or some type of emotional response you would have. Is there anything that you feel like you?
Do you want to know something we've
really had to
grown
grow
out of
out
or actively working on?
It could be both.
Okay.
It could be both.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know. It's deep. It's deep. I just thought of this as
Who wants to go first?
talking. We were talking about all this.
I have my answers. Y'all want me to go first? For me, it was and not to get too deep, but whatever. I had no clue that the trauma that I experienced completely changed my brain. I didn't know that. So there were a lot of thought patterns that I had developed that I didn't even realize I developed or were even problematic until my early to mid 20s. And one of them was the personalization of everything. Like anybody's actions around me, well, that's obviously because of me. And that's by accident. Really selfish. You don't realize how selfish it is in the moment. That's just a result of trauma, brain, and anxiety and whatever. And you're just misattuning to things, and you just think everything is your fault or whatever. That was hard to learn out of. But I can say sometimes my brain will go back to doing that. But I'm at the point now where I'm like, bitch. You know you can't be doing that. That is not healthy. Stop. But I think something that I'm actively, if I'm going to be transparent, that's something that I'm actively working on is relationship dynamics and the trouble that I have in specific relationship dynamics. And that is tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's tough. So that's thank you.
To be continued.
Thank you for asking.
I would say for me, I spent a lot of time worrying too much about what other people think about me, which caused a lot of social anxiety. There were I was around certain people that didn't really allow me to be myself, really. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm still working on that, but just an environment change that I needed, and needed to surround myself with much better people over the years. Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things, right? It's easy to say, but so much time can pass and we're just not aware.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Right. And some things are always going to be there. Some things, you can't really fix 100%. But I mean, as long as you keep working on that thing, everything just gets easier.
Especially depending on how young we were.
Yeah.
Right.
It becomes so much harder to be aware of that and to grow out of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I like things. I don't know about you, but I can think of things that happened in middle school that still get me going on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
PTSD for real.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about music as well. I can now talk about these things openly, and it opens up a wide range of conversations, and you find like-minded people that are oh, I've been through that. Oh, I feel like this all the time, and it makes you feel better about yourself.
You saying this really makes me think to Shine that you just dropped. I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I can see that in the track you just dropped.
Okay, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Right. Like if we all just allow each other to, you know, shine, shed a light in each other, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Stream Shine.
We
Out
gotta
on
say
all
this.
platforms.
Yeah, out on all platforms. Check
Absolutely.
Stream Shine
Yes.
on Apple.
Spotify. Suck.
Who's going next?
I'm gonna be truthfully honest. I did not hear the question. I was literally
Oh, yeah, you
focused
were-
on. I'm so.
You were putting the.
I got you.
tech
I'll
out.
give mine and you
so
can go,
annoyed
Jay.
right now.
No, it's all good.
No, because I never deleted the footage from last week, so it was like, we're good. Whatever.
Still getting the audio though.
Yeah, we're good.
I asked
You got your phone, right? Yeah.
if everyone's comfortable to share something that a behavioral pattern or an emotional pattern that they had to learn to grow out of or are actively working on to grow out of.
Ooh, that is a good question.
Yeah.
I know one of mine is how I would respond to conflict. Because sometimes when you grow up around a lot of it and dysfunction and everything, you can go two ways, right? You can be the type that acts out a lot, or you can internalize it. I internalize everything.
Oh yeah.
Same.
You know what I'm saying?
Same.
And so
Yeah. There's a lot you just have to tune out. You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of
I'm very much about my peace in so many ways, and I prefer things to be calm. Like I don't like when there's conflict or anything.
Right.
But if I've ever been like in settings, and especially in certain I don't just mean in dating, like in relationship dynamics,
Yeah.
whenever there's like conflict, immediately I like shut down and like hole up just because I want peace.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. And like you got to be like, you know, in tune with yourself enough to be like, okay, I'm getting mad about this, but is it really worth
Yeah.
it? Like, should I really be getting into it with this type of
Yeah,
person?
no,
or
it took a lot to work out, like,
Oh, yeah.
like in terms of communication.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot. Because like I'm someone that I don't mind. I'm the type I don't mind confrontation, but I don't like conflict, and they're different to me.
Yeah.
Cause,
You know
no,
what I'm
they
saying?
are.
Because the energies are different
They are.
around it. Like if I need to address something, I have to confront you. But conflict is like, oh no, there's a issue, the
like an
personal
ongoing thing.
like,
Correct.
issue
Yeah.
here
Right.
that we got to address.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't like when there's like a false narrative about who I am. Because then I feel like I feel like I constantly have to defend myself until they like understand that that's not who I am.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, you know, I've learned to not believe a lie. You know, and it still takes time for me to kind of understand that. That wasn't what I was initially going to address, but you know, just speaking on that too. But I think for me, well, you made me think of something that I've actually grown out of, just because you said like, you know, I could think back to like something from like middle school that like just kind of like, you know, hits me a little bit. And I talked about it in Question My Character, song that I just wrote on Apartments. Had kids call me gay before I knew what it meant. So like in middle school, I literally, like my best friends, like my friends I always hung out with, people, whatever, like for an entire year, like called me gay and like pointed at me, like teased me. Like it was one of those moments, like I literally went to my mom, I was like, I don't want to go to school. And so like I had reached a point, like I wouldn't say that I like hated gay people, but you know, there was definitely some, I don't know if it was like directly towards them, but just I think the term in general. And like, even as I got older, like if people, like especially like spouses or girlfriends or whatever that I was with, and they'd be like, oh, you're so gay. And I would like get like super
It was
like,
because that's a trigger at that
Yeah.
point. It was
and
just
I was
the
like,
word.
and I was like, no, like if there's anything that you could call me, like don't call me that.
Becomes an
because
autonomic response.
I was like it sunk into me like way deeper than like,
Yep.
oh, you're such an idiot. But like you're gay. I was like it like took me back. And I
totally
think
get
sometimes
that.
I still kind of have those moments and I'm like, just please. And again, it's nothing against gay people. Like I have no hatred against like gay people, anything like that. You know, do you, boo boo. type of thing.
Well, it's what the word meant in that context
Right.
to you. So it could have been any word.
Yeah,
at that
exactly,
point.
exactly.
It just so happened to be that one.
Right.
But I'm
yeah,
sorry.
like
That's
they call me the F word, related to gay, like for like an entire year. Like all my friends, like anywhere I went, I'd say
Kids
something.
are the worst.
They really are.
Dude, it was
Kids ain't got
so
no
bad.
filter.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
It was so bad. Like I would say something like not even related to that, and they'd be like, "Oh, shut up, you're gay." Like, and I'm like, dude, like, can I get a break from this? And it was just like constant, boom, boom, like every day.
Yeah.
It was bad. But one of the things that I think I need to work on definitely, and I'm getting better, but it's like the communication piece, in a little bit more of a timely manner. But I think just communication in general. Growing up, it was challenging with my mom, because like she was kind of, and this is no negative reflection on her. She did exactly what she needed to do, and I appreciate everything for it. But she was definitely like one of those like kind of like helicopter moms where like she had to know everything. Like, where are you going? What time are you coming back? Who's going to be there?
Yep.
Like everything. So then, you know how they say like if you take something away from someone, the more they're going to be attracted to going to do it. Mm-hmm. So it was like, for me, it was like kind of the reverse. It was like, you want all this information, I'm just not going to tell you anything.
Same. I feel that.
So like even now, and again, I'm trying to get better at it, because with her, and sometimes I'll be honest, like it is with my wife too, it's almost like a trigger where they're like, hey, like, what are you doing? Where are you going? And then it's like, I like one word answer it, or like, oh, I'm just going out.
Yeah.
I'm just going to work. And then it'd be like, well, what time do you work? And it's like, and then I'm like, oh my God, like all these questions.
Oh yeah,
and
it's like that for me too, for sure.
Because you're already starting out aggravated.
So then
Yeah.
it's like, once it hits like, and it's just like simple questions.
Yeah.
But like coming from her, it's like, oh my God, here we go. Like, you're all up in my business, and it's like, that's not fair, to her or anybody, So like, I think I transfer it to my wife sometimes when, I have like a work thing coming up, and, and I'm like, oh, like I have this, but, just timing and everything else. And I'm like, oh, like and then it comes last minute, and then I'm like, hey, by the way, and then I'm like, and then it's like, why didn't you tell me sooner? And then I'm like, oh, like now I have to deal with the negative response of it,
Yeah,
which is no fault to her, but I face those consequences because I hold on to it, because I'm like afraid of sharing that information, because it's like telling everything.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's where I'm at too with that, because I'm at an age where it's like what do you care? Like I'm my own person. Like I'm gonna do this if I want to. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then like if something comes up, like you said, like I'll be afraid of the of the conversation, because I don't want to like run into that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like they're just generally interested.
And like I don't. I mean, I understand that, of course. Like, but like, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
But
That was a really good question.
I don't like feeling restricted. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's. I feel like to a certain point, as an adult, it's to what you were saying in terms of, to use a title of your song, like question my character. Mm-hmm. In some ways, that's how it can feel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Getting questioned like that, and you don't even, and that's not what we're not saying that, but that's just how it feels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like naturally, like, what do you mean? Like, where am I going? Like,
yeah.
Like,
It definitely does.
But it kind of goes back to what you were saying before too, of you never know what somebody has been through or what emotional maybe trauma. So like, don't question my character, because you don't know what I've been through.
Yeah.
So like in the song, like I go through like all those things that I've been through, the progress with music, kind of growing up, whatever, because you don't know what I've been through. So like, let me kind of explain. And then, until you understand what I've been through, like, don't judge me.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Which I gotta say, because two things. First one's not gonna sound like it's serious, but I'm completely serious.
I got you.
I had no idea you had a wife. That God,
Oh, you're
terrible. I feel like I should have known that. That is, I just want to say I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I mean, it's not like, to be honest, sadly, like, it's not like I post it all the time either. Like, hey, I'm with my wife. Like,
This is true.
At least
this
on
is true too.
social media
Yeah.
piece.
You said that in my mind. I was like, did I know that? Am I supposed to know that? Like, did I miss that? Like,
No.
girlfriend, we jumped to wife. I was like, do you have kids? No. Okay, because that would have really felt bad if you got a wife and kids.
Bro, I got 5 kids right now.
A whole ass family, and here I am, like, damn, like
5 kids, 2 grandkids. Like, bro, you just missing out right now.
wow, like you're.
Bro, I've got 7. I have no clue where they are.
Damn.
Lewis has been busy in the past.
I get down.
But second, piggybacking off something you're saying, don't question my character and all those things, and don't know what someone's been through. I would have never guessed, and I'm just listening to this from the music. You had a history, I'll say, with alcohol. Mm-hmm. Please expand. I'm learning this for the first time. I just heard it from apartments, but
Yeah.
I was just like, I need to ask Jay about this.
It was an interesting experience. So like growing up, like I was the typical. So let me take a smaller step back. So growing up, I knew that my dad was an alcoholic. Like that was why my mom and my dad split up. He just like natural alcoholic type of thing, and like he ended up getting like a head injury and he had to take medication, but like he still wanted to drink like heavily, and obviously like it says on the label, don't mix with alcohol. What does he do? He mixes it with alcohol. He's having seizures, he's passing out, and my mom's like, I don't want this life anymore. So I grew up and was like, I'm never gonna do that. Like I'm never gonna be like my dad. Like I'm never gonna put my mom through that. I'm not gonna put like any of my spouses through that. And, and then, so I didn't drink literally until I turned 21, like when I was actually legal to do it. I went out, whatever. So then, this is like college, and then I kind of got the taste of it. So it was like every Friday night I was going out with the track team, we were drinking, we were doing this, we were doing that. And I guess you could say like, fast forwarding, looking at a lot of different situations, it was a lot of like trying to cover up a lot of different things, whether it was like breakups, me feeling depressed, and I mentioned it, on a couple podcasts ago. I think it was episode 50.
It was.
Where, so just to catch you up, like this was one of the moments where I was like, this is like kind of taking me it was like the start of it, but I still like kind of hung on to it. But my wife, girlfriend at the time, had broke up with me. And this was something that like really hurt me because she was somebody that I wanted to marry even at that time. And, we had tried on and off and it just like kept not working. And then finally we were like, yep, this is it. Like we're going to be together. Woo, And then she was like, nope, I'm breaking up again. And I was like heartbroken type of thing. And then literally the next day, my brother calls me and is like, hey, our sister just passed away. If you want to come out, for the funeral in Memphis, whatever. So I was like, great. My life sucks. My life is over. Like what else is going to happen? Blah, 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 blah. So I fly out, and I'm hanging out with my nephew and his girlfriend at the time, wife now. And we were at the bar and I'm drinking and I'm literally sitting by myself because they're kind of talking, like we're sitting together, but like I just feel like utter separation. Like they were like here, but like I just felt like there was like a giant, like not even like a wall, but like 30 feet separation. And I'm just like drinking by myself and like, in my head, I'm like just chilling like you are. Or not in my head, sorry. On the outside, I'm like chilling just like you are, but in my head, I'm like throwing glasses at the wall. Like I'm just angry. And like we got home and like I just kept drinking, like almost to the point like I wanted to just like be done. Luckily, I passed out. Thankfully. Thank God I passed out. So like that was one of the moments. And then like there's been moments like I've gotten angry and like I've ruined like relationships because of it, because I was drunk. And I just said stupid stuff and it was like to good people. And like, like I say it in that other song, I felt the torture Kristen felt, like, cause I was like drunk and just said stupid stuff, and she was a good person. I'll be honest, I've flipped, your little TV dinner tables. Like I've flipped one of those on my wife like before, cause I was just angry. And so again, I think I was like using it to thinking that I was covering things up, when obviously, like, again, I've said it before, like it's what is it? It's not an antidepressant, but it makes you more depressant.
It's a
Right?
depressant.
Yeah, it's a depressant. It's a
Okay,
depressant.
okay.
Yeah,
Making sure I'm saying that right.
It's a downer. It's not enough.
Yeah, it's a downer. So, and I thought like I was just doing it for, just to cover and be fine and have fun. Like if I go out, like I have to drink because it's the only way I'm going to have fun. But, again, looking back, like I had like a blip of fun. And then the rest of the night, like as soon as the night was over, I was like, what do I do now?
Right.
Like this kind of sucks, And then, so yeah, and then eventually, fast forward to just within a couple of years, I dialed it back a lot. If I did get drunk, it was maybe twice a month. But I would get into just like trying different whiskeys. Like I tried to make an art out of it type of thing, like trying different whiskeys, like, every, week or so, like I would buy a new one and just try it, like little, sips, just have glasses, whatever. But I was doing it, after a day of work, and I was like, oh, I need a drink after work. Oh, long day, I need a drink. Oh, I need to go to sleep, I need a drink to help me sleep. So it was like I was always using it to help me do something else. So I, again, I started recognizing that, and then, eventually, I found God and, started really getting into my faith, and, it says be of sober mind. So I, took that very seriously. And, so I've been sober. It's weird that I know the date, but only because J Plus was actually over my house, and we were watching the USA basketball team when they were playing in the Olympics, when they won the gold medal. So August 7th of last year, so I'm like a year and a half sober.
Wow.
Congrats,
no
man.
alcohol. And that was just a personal thing. Again, at that point, I wasn't, again, it was more just like, trying to sleep or whatever, but more of a casual thing. But I was like, if this is the path that I want to go down, like I have to stick to it, And I was like, and now like I don't have urges to drink. Like I don't look for it. I don't crave it, and it feels good. And, we talked about like the creative process with that. And, I'm probably better than ever as far as like, musically, so, I mean, long story.
It's beautiful. Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
But that's kind of the, the journey of it and kind of the realism of it. And that's, why I put like, that song Let Go. Like I let go of using alcohol simply as a cure, because I was trying to cover stuff up and, hurting people, whether emotionally and almost physically. Like I was like, I'm kind of creeping on that borderline of what my dad was doing. So,
Well, thank you for being so transparent about that, because I think it's really important to talk about these things and normalize them more. And I'm happy that you kind of brought up like the mental health piece of like you were trying to cover up other things. I feel like for men, society doesn't really set you up for success when it comes to processing feelings or talking about emotions or or really anything. So to me, it makes sense that you were covering these things up with alcohol, and thank God, quite literally, that you do have the wherewithal to notice that and be mindful of it and pick up on these habits, because a lot of people don't notice these habits and don't pick up on them, and it is obviously it's pretty detrimental to yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Like, I'm happy that you brought that up, because that's just something I've been thinking about lately more in general of just kind of like how society sets different people up.
yeah.
And for me, it makes me feel so many different negative emotions. It makes me sad. It makes me infuriated. It makes that society sets men up in a very specific way.
Yeah.
And it just makes me so upset.
Yeah. And the thing too is like, if again, I've said it before, but if people are drinking around me, I'm not like, hey, no, don't do that. Like, don't drink around. Like, I'm like, if you want to drink, like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like I've said before,
You just don't do it.
I just don't. And
Right.
I thank God that I have like such a great group of friends that if they are drinking, they're not like, come on, bro, come on, bro, come on, bro, come on,
Take
bro.
a shot,
Like,
go and take a shot.
yeah, they're just like, all right, Jay's having some water. Like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. Like,
And like we're not like falling over drunk too. Like we're
Yeah,
we're
people-
litty, really. It's
Yeah.
all love. We're having a great time and all that stuff. And
But it's
I might fall over.
yeah, but it feels good that it feels good to have people that are like, I'm like, hey, I don't drink, and they're like, okay,
Right.
All
Like
right,
that's
cool.
not a big deal. That's just
Yeah,
your own
it's not,
personal decision.
right.
and like I've said, the only time that I've ever
Why would that
had
be a deal breaker?
Right.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
would that
that's
ever
what
be
I'm
a deal
saying.
breaker?
Yeah.
for
Like, why would it be a
people?
deal
That's
breaker?
what I'm saying. Yeah, like who
Like-
cares if I'm not drinking? If
Right,
you want to drink
like-
and have fun and do what you want to do,
Yeah, dude.
that's you. Like I don't care.
Right. Like I'm a weed smoker. Not everyone around me smokes weed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's never going to be a
same
deal
thing.
breaker
I
for
don't
me.
smoke,
Like,
but if like you're like, hey, I'm gonna spark up real quick, I'm like, oh, okay.
all right, do your thing.
It's like I like barbecue sauce instead of buffalo sauce. Like, okay,
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ew.
cool. We're getting buffalo wings, you get barbecue wings. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Like
these aren't
fine.
major things.
No big
Like-
deal.
Yeah, it's no big thing. I'm like, all right, cool. Do what you gotta do. And, what I was trying to say too is, the only time that I've ever been like, hey guys, don't drink. Again, I've said it before. I keep saying that, but is like I had a birthday party and I had people that were coming over that were former alcoholics, like recovering alcoholics, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be that person that puts them in that
Yeah, well, that's
position.
a respect thing.
Like
at
I
that
have
point, yeah.
I have much more self-control because I wasn't in that deep, but I know that they're like these people, like if they smell it, like I could possibly throw them off the deep end, and I'm not being responsible for that. So that would be like the only scenario. But like I've had birthday parties like the year prior to that, and it was just like BYOB, if y'all want to drink. I'm not gonna drink, but if y'all want to bring something, like do you just clean up after yourself.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Clean up your stuff.
I'm glad I didn't bring anyone that knows me. I love wine. I'm glad I didn't bring a bottle. I was thinking of bringing a bottle. I would have felt even more like a degenerate bringing that. Bringing that.
Wine is your thing too. That's true.
Yeah, even wine. I don't drink wine anymore. No, nothing. No.
The next 41st Studios party that we do, I'm gonna bring some sparkling grape juice for you. We're gonna have to cheers it
Just
up.
have a bottle, just walking around. Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
I got the Welch's. Don't worry. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it
We'll
on
pop
deck.
bottles for you, Jay.
Yeah, if everyone's popping bottles, Jay, don't worry. You're gonna have a bottle to pop.
Jay is wasted. No, it's just grape juice.
You're gonna get sugar drunk. You can get-
Jay is bouncing off the walls right now.
Sugar.
What is, bro, I want some of what you have. I mean, bro, if you want some of this juice, there you go.
When they grape drink. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
grape
saying?
drink. Yeah, grape drink. Yeah. Sugar, what is, sugar, water, purple.
I don't know what we're talking about.
You don't, sugar, water, purple.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so offended right now. God damn.
What is
I'm
juice?
so sorry.
Grape drink? You never heard of grape drink?
I know what it is, but were you singing a song?
No.
Oh, I thought
Dave
you were
Chappelle.
referencing a song.
No, it's Dave Chappelle.
Oh, okay.
One of his, right?
Have you never seen this bit on grape juice?
I thought,
We got to watch that later.
and I thought that I was a Dave Chappelle enthusiast.
we
I
may
guess
have to
I'm-
watch that later.
That was like the
Classic.
DC one? I think it was the one he was in DC.
I think it may have been. Yeah, I can't remember the. It's one of those classic ones. I
Super,
can't remember
yeah.
exactly which one, but
Super old one. Yeah. he's
but
talking-
it's a great bit. It's a great.
yeah, he's
Well, I
like-
love Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, it's something like growing up in the hood. Like we didn't have grape juice. Like we had grape drink. And he'd be like, go to his like white friend's house, and he'd be like, "Oh, you want some grape juice? It's juice. I want some apple drink." Like it wasn't apple juice. What? It's juice. Yeah, but he does it way better than I do.
I'm sure you're pretty comparable.
Who knows?
Yo, some grape drink on deck for sure.
I'm with it.
Grape bottles.
Grape bottles.
Can we take pictures of you with the grape bottles in front of the money wall?
Yo,
break out
yes,
the money gun.
yes,
Grape goose.
some grape goose. Yo,
We're just gonna like wrap the label around it and just cross out gray and put
Grape.
grape. Yeah,
That's fine.
I'm with it.
I was gonna grab you a grape Zevia, but I don't think we have any left.
Those like soda situations, those are really good.
Aren't they great?
I just had the lemon lime one, and I I'm a
I don't
big
think I've
fan.
had one. To be
I'm a
honest,
fan.
I'm gonna have to try it next time.
I wanted their version of Dr. Pepper, but then it said it had caffeine, and I was like, that's a no for me, dog.
You know,
Not at this time.
Yeah, anything after 7, it's like.
Not at this time.
Yeah, because we were talking about like, because we kind of shied away from the liquid death, but we were like, oh, like we should do like Celsius or Bang, and she was like, I am not trying to drink a Bang at 7 o'clock.
I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, why don't you just get us an 8-ball, Jay? What are you talking about? This should be up the
cocaine.
whole night. Like, what? Yeah, let's
Let's just get high off cocaine. Why don't we? Like just a super drastic.
I love escalated the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Well, and I know, so dramatic.
Caffeine to
That's
coke.
weird.
What's the difference?
For me, there is none. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. I would be up all night either way. I guess is what I'm getting at.
Actually, do you guys take anything to kind of help stimulate you to perform when you go for a performance
Not
on
cocaine.
stage or
I was
anything?
just gonna say like cocaine.
I mean, wouldn't judge you. Wouldn't
mean like
judge you either
cocaine?
way.
Like that white
Would
girl.
not judge you either way. What?
Before performing on stage.
Like to give us more energy, or
Yeah,
just
do you guys like
some kind of a ritual? Or
Yeah, do you guys
Probably
like do
should.
something to like get yourselves like hyped up or take?
Normally,
anything?
I'll take a couple shots, like
Let's go.
you know,
Of
just
what though? Do you
loosen
have
up.
a preferred like go to?
Tequila.
I used to be. Too.
I like green tea shots.
Y'all are dangerous.
Fireball.
Green tea is good.
Delicious.
I used to do Fireball too.
Yeah,
Fire. Ooh.
yeah.
Oh no.
Bold move. My buddy used to buy just nips on nips, and you just
I can't. The cinnamon thing throws me off. That's a
Yeah.
no for me, dog. I can't do it.
yeah, you
That's
gotta
probably,
be like
probably my top 3 right there.
I respect it though.
yeah.
Shots of Fireball because life spits flames. You know what I'm saying? When he gets on that stage.
Yeah,
I was afraid to drink before performing because I know me, and I would get and so I'd be afraid that I'd like forget lyrics or stumble off stage, type of thing. That for me.
right. Yeah, it helps me loosen up. Just
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little, you know what I'm
respect.
saying? Just like kind of like a good luck kind of thing. Salute, good health. Everyone's
Yeah,
here. You
that's
know?
true.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't know for performing music, but in general, like I feel like I can't be under any influence. Like even if I smoke, like if I smoke before a show, I'm smoking like 2 hours or 3 hours before, so that by the time like call time is, like I'm perfectly straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think for me, I get super rigid about that. So if I know that I'm like performing or showing up somewhere for that purpose or whatever, then I just have to be like sober.
Yeah.
I just also can't trust myself when I'm drinking.
Yeah.
So like, I can't trust my mouth. I'm like, no, it's just easier if I don't. I can't. I just say crazy things. So
I kind of seclude myself versus trying to get myself hype. Like if you ever, like once like I know like maybe like 15, 20 minutes like before I'm about to go on, like I know for sure.
Yeah.
Like my head is down. I'm just
zone
like
I feel
just
that.
zoned in my thoughts.
I feel
Like,
that. No
just,
one can
like,
find me.
thinking about what's
Yep.
happening. Even if I'm like surrounded by people, like I'm literally just like
Oh, like the
I
picture.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here. I mean, I'm a little of both. Like, if I know my set, and like we were talking about this, like the last podcast. Like, if I know my set enough, where it's just automatic. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm getting hype. But like, if it's a different set with like completely new songs,
Yeah.
then I would seclude myself and be like, all right, like I would just go in the bathroom and recite my lyrics over and over again.
yeah. I think I would
I
have
just do what I gotta do.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree with that too. I think if it's something newer, like Portland, like such a bigger set and just like so many different transitions.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I really have to like zone in a little bit harder because there's so many moving pieces, like and like so many different lyrics and
Oh
songs
yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
so much easier to forget lyrics. Like usually I have our song "This Is the Life." I usually have that down. I usually have "Get Up Out the Way" down. I mean, I almost got through "Get Up Out the Way," but when it came to "This Is the Life," I straight up told him like, "Yo, like just letting you know, I forgot my lyrics on this one, so I might have to skip it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's real respect for admitting that. But
It
but you do
happens
have so
sometimes,
many
it
tracks. You
happens.
guys artists do so many tracks. It's like, Did you guys ever hear on Lil Wayne's podcast what him and M were talking about? How like they have to Google their own lyrics because they've just made so much music.
Yeah.
That when they go to do any
believe it.
performance, they literally have to Google all the stuff they're performing of themselves because they just can't. It's just a bunch of stuff in their head. So they,
I'm at that point. I would say I'm at that
thousands
point.
of songs right there. I've got like hundreds of songs.
thousands. Yeah. So you guys probably makes sense if you have to like relook over your songs.
Oh, yeah,
how much you've written.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even when going back into This Is the Life, like even though like we've performed it and stuff, and you know I listened to it here and there, but I literally had to like sit down and be like, all right, Jay, like make sure that you like have this because like you haven't touched this in a little bit. Get up out the way, like make sure. Even though like that one again is like another muscle memory thing, but like I had to make sure that I had that muscle memory down pat because if I screw this up, like and Get Up Out the Way, like if I screw that up, like the entire thing is done because I'm not picking that back up.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's fast, like the rhymes are all the same.
Yeah.
Like it has to, like I can't miss a beat.
And like that, it's like that sometimes with like newer, like brand new songs too. You know, even though even though it should be like fresh in my mind, and you know, I've gone over it enough. Like I don't know, like if it's something that I wrote like last week or like last month, I'm not gonna get it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even stuff on Apartments, like I'm still like kind of building myself up, and my wife's like, "But you wrote it." I'm like, "Yeah, but like some of these lyrics, like I've recorded like a while ago, or you know, I wrote it a while ago and I just haven't like picked it back up, you know, so like it's gonna take me a second. Like I gotta pull my notebook out and kind of go over it. And like some of the things, like some of the dots connect, but then like there's pieces I'm like, oh, like, you know, I gotta get that muscle memory back of, you know, what goes where, because like especially with Apartments too, like I've changed so many different things. You know, as I've gotten better in writing, like I've changed some of the originals of the songs. So I'm like my brain is still focused on the memory that I had, or the lyrics of what I memorized prior, not what I've rewritten and redone. Right. So then I'm like, okay, like I said, I have to get that muscle memory of the new stuff now. But then like if you're like, hey, go try to do, which it's almost weird though, is I know I'm jumping all over the place. But sometimes for me, like even when I get on stage and I have those moments where before I hear the beat, I'm like, crap, how does that verse start?
Oh, yeah.
But then as soon as the beat hits, I'm like, 100% of the time, I don't like nothing to listen about. And I'm like, boom, my God.
Jay,
but
it's
do that. Scary, though.
I do that before I go on stage, and I've done it more than I even want to admit. And I scare the shit out of myself, and I'm like, "Oh my God, where do I enter from? What was my cue line?" And then it starts spiraling, and then I'm like, "Girl, no, no, like you know this stuff. Don't even start questioning it." And then it's like, you know, the lights go up, and you just go on.
Yeah,
like,
Let Go. Before the show in Portland, I literally sat there and I was like, how does the first verse start? I have the second verse, but like my brain just can't tap in.
Oh, I hate that.
And then I literally pulled out my phone and was like, and then as soon as I heard the beat, I was like,
got it. Right.
Well, bam.
Yeah, right? Bam, here we go.
Yeah.
But it's like, but at the same time, like it's super scary because I've gone like actually up there and I know the next song that's coming. And then I'm like, oh crap, I don't know what the first verse is.
Yeah.
And then like I start hearing the beat, and literally there's been moments like just before the beat drops into where I'm supposed to come in, it's like, got it. And I'm like, thank God. And then I go into the verse, but I'm like, this could have been rough.
So sometimes I'll think to myself, yo, I think I might need to pull out my phone for this. Like, should I say fuck it and pull out my phone for this? But then I don't know.
And the answer is no.
Yeah. But it's either do
freestyle,
or don't,
not screw it. Next time, like freestyle.
Yeah.
Let them know it's an exclusive.
Right.
Exactly.
People don't. A lot of people don't realize like how much repetition it is. You know what I mean? Like you have a song written and recorded, but I have to listen to it over and over and over and over and over and over and wait for it. Over and over again.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
On the Marshawn.
I have to go over everything for like a straight like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
Just listening to nothing but that.
And also we're doing like 100 other million things too. Like we're not only writing, like we're creating the songs, then like we have our 9 to 5s, and we have like other stuff that we're working on musically. We're writing new songs. The
yeah.
writing process like just doesn't stop.
Right.
You know, in theory. So it's like, you know, you write something down and you get it down, you record it, and you're like, all right, I'm on to the next thing. Like, that's done. All right, on to the next thing. Then it's like, oh, crap, now I have a show. All right, now I have to go back, put the set together, and then I have to get everything together. You know?
It's the life of the right mind right there. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
That's right.
It's crazy. But.
What about for you, Chris? Like when you're getting ready for like, well, I know there's multiple different things that you do, but for like a shoot day, like what is something that, whether it's your routine or ritual or like what helps you get like in the zone?
So I'm pretty systematic about it. I'm pretty systematic about a lot of things, just if I've done them enough. And I usually like to kind of ease into those type of days where, I don't know if this would be the same for all of y'all, but I know whenever I have shoots like that, I'm shooting for at least 3 to 4 hours, right? Where I have to really like be on. And I know I need my energy for it. So I like to conserve it leading into that.
Yeah.
And so I don't necessarily start like really like warming up until like maybe 45 minutes before, because like I can go 0 to 100 real quick, but there's only a finite amount of energy like I can expend on it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's tiring. I think it's tiring. You have to. I don't know how long you guys typically have to perform, but like when I go shoots, like I usually do at least now 3 shoots back to back to back. Like with rehearsals and everything
Good for you, honey.
added in. So it's like 45 minutes to an hour. Like I gotta like boom, 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 boom.
Normally, like for like, you know, most of the local shows we've done, it's like 15 minutes, maybe a little less. 15, 20. You know, now we're at a point where, you know, luckily we're doing at least 25 to 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
The last performance we had like 20 minutes each. We all got up on stage at the same time. We all had an hour. Like
It's energy though.
Yeah,
It's energy.
Definitely.
You have to add so much to it, being in front of people or being on camera.
Yeah.
And so I take I'll ease in listening to like whether it's podcasts or maybe some more low tempo, low. I mean lower like energy in terms of like the beat type music. And then once I really need to start ramping up, I'll start looking over my material. Similar like artists would look over their lines or actors would look over their lines. I start reviewing the workouts that I have. That's when I really start to like amp it up because I got to get in that mode and like turn on. So I have this entire like hype playlist I put on, and I usually come back to like the same like 12 songs anyway.
I love
Like
that.
really like get in. There's probably some Wayne, it's probably some M in there.
Oh,
probably
yeah.
some DMX.
It's gotta be, right?
Yeah.
So, and then I'm reading over I'll read over the workouts, and then I'm probably around the same time I started doing that, started having a little caffeine as well. And so I've gotten really good at peaking and in terms of that stimulant high as I'm about to go shoot my first video, which is perfect because then by that point, adrenaline carries me through the rest of the way. I don't need anything. I just need to get myself up a little bit. And then once I'm there, I'm humming. Like I can just kind of stay there and everything. But that whole process is probably over a few hours from when the day started.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's real, like it's a full on day.
Yeah. And like, you know, when you're revved up like that too, like you don't necessarily have to remember anything. It's just all off energy.
No, a lot of, you know, what I do is a little bit different than you guys.
Yeah.
And so when I'm filming workouts, I'll definitely rehearse. And I spend time rehearsing.
Yeah, you have to know like which workout's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I may have some bars, some punchlines that I really want to get out. A good amount is ad lib though. Like you said there, like once I'm up here,
you're up there freestyling?
No, seriously. Once I'm up here, like I will just start like coming up with anything because my mind's like working and I'm alert and I can really start freestyling. Let me refer with not like everything's off the top because like I'm guided through the whole workout and I've already rehearsed this.
Yeah.
I mean with all the color stuff that I'm saying
all the color
and adding
commentary.
in.
Right.
Yeah.
Color commentary for my own stuff. That's all ad-libbed.
Oh, yeah.
For the most part. Yeah. So I just like
that's fun to watch too because like you'll say something and be like
Yo, this guy.
I'm up there with you, like, you know.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no. So a lot of the stuff, yeah, that stuff ends up getting ad-lib. But I like, you know, I'm so pumped to say this here among artists and everything, because y'all would really, I feel like, appreciate this the most. So music was really one of my biggest inspirations behind a lot of the stuff that I do when it comes to the workout videos and even the prep work, because I like to use references in general to rap. I like to use bars as a reference if someone says something like dope or whatever.
Yeah.
And I like to use punchlines as a reference for the same thing. And so I will literally, like, for one of the companies, Hotworks, when I shot for them, they're based in New Orleans, and I knew I had to shoot 2 different 45-minute videos that I was leading. But these were going to be up in perpetuity. Now, Daily Burn, on the other hand, I'm regularly shooting with them, period. You know what I mean? Like every few months. These were 2, and that's it. So if these ones are just going to be up, I can't go edit. I can't do nothing.
You gotta be.
However these ones are, it's how people are going to see me. And so I literally had line after line, joke after joke at certain points ready to go when we were filming. Dang. And no lie, there's a woman, Casey, who was leading the production of it. There was one particular video we were shooting, and I made like 3 different jokes, and all of them she kept cutting out. But I had another one ready to go. Like, I had bars ready to go, written to come out.
Yeah.
That I practiced just in case this happened.
Word, yeah.
Just like someone, like, you know, if you were like writing, you're like, oh, this bar's like fire. Like I literally was basically doing that. Like for these videos that I was shooting, knowing like, okay, this probably won't fly, and if this one doesn't fly, I'm gonna use this one. If this doesn't fly, I'm gonna use this one. If this doesn't fly, I'm gonna use this one.
Yeah.
One of these is gonna land,
right?
Because these are all too good. Like there's no way it won't. Because when I say that, it was just because of the demographic. They were like, oh, this is not gonna work for them. I was like, cool, don't worry, I got another one ready for you, depending on who I'm talking to. Like, do not worry.
Right. Yeah. And that's great to have in your back pocket too, because it keeps everything fresh. It keeps everything fun, and you know.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. 100%. It's
I don't think we dove like into it like right off the bat, but like let the people know like what you do, like what you've done, what you have coming, and all that stuff.
Ooh, man, I actually hate getting asked that, because I'm like, where the hell do I begin?
Yes, sir.
Best way I could say it is I am I'm a fitness professional and content creator around everything fitness. And I'm a personal trainer and performance coach for athletes. I'm an on-camera talent and instructor for companies like what I was just talking about, who'll hire me to shoot and lead workout videos. Let's see. What else? No, I really like. No. Seriously, like media personality, public speaker.
I've always wanted to get into public speaking.
I like to. What I'm about to say, this I gotta give context to this. Like I like to say, I dabble in entrepreneurship. For example, the 41st Studios.
Yeah.
Like we're in here, but I like to refer to everything I do, whether it's like business or entrepreneurship wise, as creation. Like I have this whole thing around like being. There's someone that I follow. He refers to himself as the master investor. I don't know if you know him. His name's Ian Dunlap. Anyway, I have a great financial education get from him, but he calls himself the master investor. And I was like, oh, I'm totally stealing that. I'm be like, I got to become a master creator.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's something that I truthfully actually really want to tell people that I do and am. Like, oh, I'm a master creator, but no one would know what the fuck that means. Right, if I were to actually say that, because I actually get really truthful. Like I really do a lot.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, I
Definitely.
really do. Kayla knows how busy I am. Like I really do a lot of things. Most are around fitness, and that's kind of where most things kind of are staying too. Like it's something that I decided a long time ago. This is my lane. This is what I'm choosing to go down. This is what I'm choosing to do. And most people really end up wanting to take a fitness quote unquote career somewhere but I never even necessarily looked at it as a career, like job or career. Like I'm really, I'm laughing. I mean, you guys are gonna know these references. I'm just laughing because this is the first time that this side of me is really actually like coming out fully in front of people. Maybe only a handful of people about to see this. Like I'm really obsessed, like genuinely obsessed on like that Kobe type stuff.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So like fitness is an obsession for me.
Yeah.
And so when I really decided like this is kind of the lane I want to get on, I'm like, well, what can I do? Like, what is the extent that I can do in fitness? Like, what are the different areas that I can touch? Most people only look at it as like being a trainer, right?
Right.
But there's so much more that goes into that. It's like, well, who do you want to train? What level do you want to do it at? What type of people would you want to work with? Do you want to do stuff for other companies? Who do you represent? Like there's so like how someone could look at acting, how someone could look at music. I can apply the same thing to fitness.
Absolutely.
It's just not thought of as the same.
That's very true. Yeah.
And so when I look at like this is something, I don't just look at this as my craft. I look at it as yes, it is my craft, but I look at it as my art.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
There's so many genres in music, right? There's so many genres in acting. There's so many genres in fitness as well. And I was like, I want to be able to be, I want to be able to have the skills, because I believe I have the talent. I want to be able to have the skills to cross all of these areas in fitness, because again, like I'm obsessed with it. I'm not just like pick up weights and do anything. I'm like, no, like I really want to build something here for myself.
Right.
And like, how do I start? And I remember just thinking like, how do I start doing that? And just along with a lot of like figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
And so now I'd like to think I have a really good track record to this point where I can actually be, I don't mind getting, I mean, I get said no to a lot over the years. I've gotten said no to a lot.
Like, who doesn't?
But I love taking at bats and seeing what doors I can knock down right now.
Yeah.
Because I know at this point, it's more, let's say I apply for a gig. Well, if I don't get accepted, let's say to shoot for a company, I know it has nothing to do with my track record and my skill. There's something else there.
Yeah.
It just still happens to be like not what they're looking for at that time.
Well, I think everyone here is going to empathize with what I'm about to say to a degree. Like I know, especially even in the climate that we're living in, most things that I apply for, there's an Asian quota. Now it's not said, it's never publicized.
Yeah.
I just understand that unless I'm applying to something that I can look up and, there's clearly like half Asians on this roster, I'm competing for maybe 2 spots, 1 of 2 spots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so if I don't get it, I literally am just like, all right, well, it looks like they met their quota. literally, that's how I'll say that in my mind. Because it's literally for everything. There's been reality shows that I've been asked to apply for and get, and when I've not got them, in my mind, I'm like, they hit their Asian quota. Because look at any reality show, you never see more than 2 Asians.
You're so right.
Yeah.
In American reality shows, you never see more than 2 Asians.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, how many am I competing against? all the Asian applicants. Great.
Yeah.
Right. For 2 spots versus.
You know what I'm saying though? Like, because at that point I'm just like that's why I don't feel bad for a lot of things, like when going out, because I know when the things do hit, I'm like, it was meant for this one. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like this was the right one.
Always something else.
Yeah.
Out there,
No, like I know
you don't get this one. There's
exactly.
There's that.
Oh man, I used to get so salty for things. There was this one company. Dude, the interview went to the point where the guy was basically like, he said to me as the director of fitness of their company, this was great. Would love for you to come down here for a live audition so we can see what you look like mic'd up.
What does that mean?
Right now, to me, I'm thinking that means, oh wow, we really want you. Like, let's come down here and see how you look in all our stuff. Because that is literally what was said to me. Like, that is verbatim what's said to me. So I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I know once they see me mic'd up, like, I can do this like the back of my hand. Like, this is breathing. I just needed to know the door was open. I'm gonna open this. I'm gonna come in, let everyone know I'm home.
Yeah.
So that was, I remember that was said to me by someone in this company, and I followed up with them. He told me to, he has other interviews, other people he's talking to, which I understood. I was like, it was early in the week that I took this interview. Almost a month goes by. I don't hear anything back. And I remember I reached out. I was about to reach out again, and I was finally reached out back to, because I sent another follow-up. Because I sent stuff that I planned on doing.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not, I wasn't just following up. I was following up with like, this is what I'm thinking.
Right. Yeah.
When I come down or have in mind, because they asked for some videos as well for me to send in before I come down. Like, cool, I can do that. I can do that too. Yeah. Just like standard, procedural type stuff. I remember he got back to me all of a sudden, super corporate response, super HR response about loved you, blah, 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 but we decided to go in a different direction. And I was just like, go in a different direction. You told me to, you want to come down and mic me up. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of thing you don't have to, you don't even have to say that.
Right.
You don't have to say all of that. You can say you like me. You can say like a lot of things to say that you like me. You don't have to tell me that you want me to come down and mic me up and like see how I look live on set and see how I look behind the camera and all these things. Like, why would you go to that extent?
Right.
And
it's like, okay, yeah.
Pull the trigger.
We they should have said it. Okay.
Over something, over the excuse of we decided to go with someone more local, which if you looked at my application, which by the way, I went through 3 different interviews, like 3 different application checks to get to this point. I'm from Boston.
Yeah,
we're shooting in New York. If location's an issue, why even pull me to this point?
Right.
Right. This should have been one of the first things that you noticed.
You know what I'm saying? Well, here was the funny thing. And I was real courteous. I was just, like, I remember and I only found that out because I reached back out. I gave it a few days because I was pissed, and I reached back out. Very, very humble though, and this is the type of thing in terms of like not burning bridges. But I asked, I was like, hey, I apply for a lot of things. I apply for a lot of opportunities, and I'm always trying to learn how I can get better at this process. I would love to understand what your company was looking for, so I can better prepare myself for another process like this with somebody else.
Smart.
Right? And that's when they told me about the location thing. So I was like, all right, well, fuck y'all. Like, no, seriously, like that's the thing in my head. Like, that is total BS. Yeah, like this whole thing is BS.
Yeah, because it's literally like your name, your like if you ever look at any type of application, it's literally like your name and then where you're from.
They triple checked with me that I live in Boston. I was like, this isn't a problem, right? No, it's not a problem. 3 times. Like, okay, like now it's a problem. But
that's wild.
You're
telling me.
Here's the thing. Back to what I was saying. I remember I saw this company and they posted. I was waiting for their roster to drop because they were saying they're hiring 2 to 3 people. They hired 4 people. 2 of them were Asian. 1 of them was adopted. Clearly, both were not me. And I was just like, You pulled another adoptee over me. Like I was like beyond myself. Like I could not. That's crazy. I was actually lost for words. I was like, wow, with no experience. I was like,
they had no experience?
Yeah.
Dang.
Compared to me, yeah. Like, geez. Like compared to me, they haven't learned as much as I've forgotten. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like, dang. Shout out Evan from Trend. I got that one from him. I love pulling that one out. But yeah, no, I was pissed, but that's why I knew. I was like, I was just laughing in my mind, like, okay, cool, 1 or 2 positions. Oh, there was 2. Didn't get either of them. That's crazy. But I say all that to come back to the point of like, I like to apply for things now, and there's so many things that I'm trying to do and go out to. I know with my track record, and if someone were to actually look into my history of things that I've done professionally. It's just a matter of like, is this the right fit?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with talent. It has nothing to do with skills.
Right.
Yeah.
I've shot for different companies. I've shot for doing a bunch of different things, whether it's speaking, whether it's this. Even the company I work for now that, we've talked about the VR one, like I produce for them. So whether it's in the camera, behind the camera, I've done it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so a lot of things that I'm trying to get into now, it's more being able to use this skill set, whether it's for myself and for fitness, or whether for it's helping and building, with other people.
Yeah.
Along those lines.
Yeah.
You know, because it's something where it's why like artists and truthfully, like artists and actors, they're people I get along with the most because I align with them the most when it comes to these things because of how I view what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because people in fitness typically wouldn't look at what they do as an art, let alone a real craft.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when an actress is playing a role, sometimes you'll get different roles and you got to become whatever that role is. Or an artist, if you have a song that you're making, or you have an idea around a song that you're making, sometimes, and it may be an experiment, well, you have to really immerse yourself in what that energy or what that story is going to be.
Yeah.
The same thing, I apply those same principles in what I do, whether it's shooting for a company that's looking for this, whether it's we're doing a company that's looking for something else.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Right. You don't see many people, go in with the mindset you have. You go in purely with passion, drive, you have energy and all that stuff. You have ideas. Everything starts with an idea. So,
Bro, I'm straight
why not
with
just
people.
dive right into it? Yeah.
This would sound so funny to someone that has never had a long enough conversation with me, is because it would sound so like basic. But every interview that I've ever been in since that first one with Daily Burn, shout out Daily Burn, give him my first op, first opportunity. No, the gift that keeps on giving. I tell people. Every interview I've been in around something fitness related, the one line I constantly always say is, "This is my entire life. Everything that I've done professionally revolves around fitness."
Yeah.
Now that sounds really basic as hell. It's like, oh, okay, so I'm like gym guy. But if you open the book, it's like, wow, there's a lot here. This is a very colorful book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
also
not just black and white pages here.
Yeah,
Right?
it's not just
encompassing.
one lane. There's multiple lanes.
Yeah,
And
we can go Ninja Warrior.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? We can go working with athletes, even pro athletes now. We can go with, the speaking aspect. Like there's so much, like whatever area you want to go down. I actually, something I'm really excited about is I hit him up on Instagram. In a few weeks, I'm going to meet up and hopefully be able to learn from a man named Tim DeFrancesco. He used to be the Lakers strength and conditioning coach during Kobe's last 4 years there. So he was able to work with Kobe as well. He actually has a gym around here. He's one of the highest in terms of like sport training and training at that level. Yeah. One of like people who's done it at the highest level. I'm pumped to be able to go meet and learn from him. And I say all this to be like, dude, this is literally just how I operate and am. I'm like, yo, can help me. This is what I need to learn. I got to get myself in there.
Oh yeah.
Because I know how I'm gonna be able to use this for other things.
Right. Yeah.
So to say, any opportunity, I've talked about like the J. Cole photo, the video shoot, other ventures that I've been on. Like any opportunity, like how do you do that? What do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do? What's that? How you do that? When did you do that? Why'd you do that? And I'm like, I'm just soaking everything in.
Bro,
definitely.
You really have to, and you really have to be a sponge. And I say all these things, like there's so many more things like I want to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like I forget where I heard this, but it was talking about how people should, instead of trying to be a know-it-all, should be a learn-it-all. And
Yes.
I want to be a learn-it-all.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Like I genuinely do, and it makes me so. Like another friend of mine, Jamie, who I used to work with like years ago, one of my first training jobs. He works he's the director of the U.S. ski and snowboard Olympic team.
Wow.
And their program director. I remember I hit him up. I was like, yo, can I come out and learn from you guys and shadow you and see all the stuff you're doing? He's working with Olympians. He's like, yeah, man, I'd love for you to come out. I'm like, bro, let's fucking go.
That's
Right.
sick.
Because maybe there's something in there that you can get involved in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, it's something like that where, and I'd like to say like these type of things that I'm saying, it's really cool and I'm really like blessed and I'm grateful that I can even like knock on these doors to get them open. But at the same time, if I wasn't doing the things that I'm doing, I couldn't even knock on these doors.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let alone get them open.
Yeah.
But it's also too, it's how you approach it too, I think, because it wasn't something like, for example, I'm using this loosely, like, hey, like I want to, become a member of your, training team for the ski and snowboarding. Like, you weren't like asking for like a bunch of things, like for like, it wasn't like me. It was just like, can I just watch you guys? Like, I'm not like asking for anything astronomical. It's just like, just let me just sit and learn. I'm not asking to, you know, get autographs, or maybe not autographs, but you know what I'm saying? Like, try to like become
You're not trying to get
infused in their
anybody.
thing. It's just like, I just want to sit and watch.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you always got to.
If that makes sense. I know
That makes complete
it's super
sense. Yeah.
I feel like it's really difficult sometimes for many people to be like, when I say humble, I mean like really humble to the point of understanding that as much as you know, you still don't know anything. And so I'm fully aware that when it comes to, you know, certain things in the fitness industry compared to anyone that's not in it, you know, it's not even a comparison, right? In terms of like talking about stuff, or when it comes to like certain aspects, even people that do fitness, it's just, man, I've just done way more things. But like things like this, it's like they're so particular that I'm like, I'm nothing. I'm an ant. You know what I mean? Compared
so
to
unique.
what so many of these people know that I'm trying to like hit up. So I'm like beyond humble. I'm like, I'm a peasant. Like, let me come in and like, you know, and clean your floor to be able to get around the stuff you're around and learn from. Type of thing. But, you know, it's not like I'm going into anything like, oh, this is what I can do for you. It's like, no. Like, bro, I'll pay my own way. I want to come. I just want to learn.
Right.
I just want to learn.
Exactly.
Because most people,
that's where I was trying to
here's the thing. Most people that I've found that have massive success or are like genuine experts, like not like a quote unquote guru or not someone that like has experience. I mean, someone that is genuinely, when you look at, you know, every realm of a track record could be, they are an expert at what they do. The people that are doing really great things at the highest levels are by and large some of the most generous people. If you have humility to pull it out of them.
Yeah.
Right? Because like I can't imagine, right, if you guys met an artist that, like if you met like J. Cole, right? Let's say you met like J. Cole. I can't even imagine you being like, yo, Cole, I got this beat for, like, oh my God, I've always wanted to make beats, blah, 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 blah. Here's how much it costs.
Never.
And you tell them, it's like, oh, it's like 50,000. Like, bro, you'd be like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Never.
It'd be so dumb.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
one, I'm like, he probably gets those like on the daily, all the time in his, you know, in the DM or something. And two, it's like you said, I would just want to have a conversation with you. Like, let me just have 10 minutes with you. Yeah. Just to like listen to you talk, and just whatever comes out, like I'm just gonna soak that up.
Yo,
Like even if it's just to shake their hand. Yeah, nice to meet you. I'm L.Y.F. I'm Lewis.
Bro, it's crazy. You have no idea like how much like this to like me and this guy Tim is gonna like means, because I'm like, oh man, this basically means I'm 1 degree from Kobe, and I'm never gonna get to meet Kobe.
Yeah.
He's like my biggest idol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's such a big, and not that I'm like as much of a stan that I am. I'm not like going there to talk about Kobe. I'm going there to talk about fitness.
Right.
It just so happens.
Yeah.
That's who we worked with.
Right, but he's also had like 4 years with him too, so it's like it's almost like you'll still, I mean, hopefully, kind of get like I'm sure anybody can quote me on this when I say it, but it's like as much as he was teaching Kobe, I'm sure that there was so many things that Kobe was teaching him too.
Dude, oh man.
So then he's probably soaking that in, and then you're gonna like hopefully absorb.
Oh, trust, I've already soaked as much in as he's talking about it on podcasts. Like
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like you'll have that firsthand experience, and then you're just like, man,
oh, for sure.
You know, I remember this one time I was sitting with Kobe, and he told me blah 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 blah, and you can just be like, yeah, that's good. This is nice.
It really like 100%.
Yeah, I hope for that moment. I really do.
100%. Well, I hope you ever go learn. You know, this not be the only time.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Like, because but truthfully, this is something that I'm going to do with a lot of who I would consider goats in the fitness coaching world. That I just want to hit up and be able to go and learn from them. I'll pay my own way. I don't care. People don't understand sometimes. It's pay to play.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very it's a very taboo thing to talk about, like trying to do anything, but you got to pay to play at some point.
Oh yeah.
For everything.
Yeah.
You're investing in
But you're
yourself.
trying to learn. It's not like
Oh yeah, no, it is all investment. It is all investment.
Yeah,
It
that's
is all
what it
time
is.
and
It is an
everything.
investment. But you're not
so
like,
I don't mind it.
hey, like I'm trying to join your company and train with you. You're like, no, I just want to learn.
Well, bro, it's
I mean,
fun for
hopefully
me.
that may
Like
be the
it's
goal.
my art,
Exactly,
it's my
love it.
craft. It's like it's like super.
Yeah.
It's everything, right? Like it's like if I was like, I mean, this is just one of my favorite. If I was an artist and I could have done the same thing with like Kanye, dude, I would have loved to travel around and just like learn from him, or like other like even or Wayne, like you know what I mean? Like I would love to just if I was an artist like travel around and just like watch, literally just like hang out as like a fly on the wall in the room.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For like a tour that they're on. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Right.
just-
Yeah.
Exactly.
And see how they do
Yeah,
stuff.
for sure.
And see how they do stuff. Because like that kind of thing from a artist, from a craftsman perspective is so invaluable to be able to see and understand what someone does at the highest level. Because as much as someone can talk about it, when you're in the environments, the energy is so much different.
For
It's
sure.
so easy to speak about things, even things that are very easy to understand. But once you're like, parenting is my favorite example. It's so easy to talk about like how would deal with kids. Jay, you're around kids a lot. That shit is gonna be different every day.
Oh,
Like there's no
100%.
when whatever book is written on kids, to me that's a lie. To me, y'all either A, didn't have kids, or you have not dealt with enough to understand that there is actually no book on some of these things.
It's very
Right.
surface level, if anything, on those books. Like
Yeah.
as far as like what you actually experience with kids. It's like people say, like you're never ready for kids. There's no real book on parenting because every situation is different. Everything is different. Like like we've had an autistic, like we were kind of bringing back what we talked about earlier. We had an autistic girl and I had no idea like what was, I didn't understand autism at first, and she's like taking things and just like doing whatever and not giving it back. And I'm like, dude, why does this girl keep taking stuff? Like it's getting frustrated. And she didn't speak, she wasn't verbal. Let me try to be, appropriate. She wasn't verbal. So I was like, man, like I can't like communicate with her. Like I could speak to her, she would understand, but like I couldn't get a response back. So then finally our trainer at the time, she gave me a book on autism. And again, autism can be such a wide spectrum, but I educated myself. And it was like one of the things that people who are autistic, one of the things that they can, again, different for everybody, but obviously it kind of put two and two together is they don't understand ownership in property. And I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. But I was like, hand, not to sound messed up, like hand be another autistic child, situation can be completely different. Like I know another autistic child, super verbal, but it just depends on what kind of playing field you're on, so it's different with every single thing.
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
It's crazy.
Just like, not every day is the same. You wake up, it's going to be different than the last one,
Right.
Right.
So you have to expect that from people too. Like
We're not gonna
everybody
we're
is
not gonna
different.
wear the same clothes. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Every day.
Everybody has different
always.
circumstances and traumas and lenses that they view their life through, and none of it has to do with us.
Yeah, no,
Just
seriously.
like how you said earlier, like just remembering the way that someone is responding to you in a moment usually has nothing to do with you and has everything to do with like just where they're coming from internally is important.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I always take a step back. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, that's coming from somewhere.
Yep.
Like, let me not.
You said what before? Don't be it all, learn it all.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
be
be
it
a
all,
know-it-all,
learn
be a learn-it-all.
Got you.
100%.
That's why I try to ask questions.
That hit me hard.
Questions will be like your number one tool for most things. Like you can get to know people better, get to
Yeah.
understand them better, get to know a process better.
It
Like,
starts so many more things
yeah,
than
questions are
just
so important.
assumptions. Like, and it's took me a while to like kind of rephrase things when I talk to people. Cause like I said, like I don't want to insult someone's intelligence. So instead of being like, yeah, referring to basketball, like a technical foul is when a player does something, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, hey, do you know what a technical foul is? Oh, yeah, I do. Oh, okay. Now I don't have to like waste my time like explaining what a technical foul is.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, I already knew that. Like, why are you
Right.
explaining it?
That goes back to the communication piece as well. Like if something, if someone says something crazy to you, it's like, okay, like please tell me like where that's coming from. Like why did you say that just now?
Yeah.
You know,
That's assuming
why are
that
you
they
feeling
know,
this
though.
way? Yeah,
Sometimes
sure.
people don't know.
right. Yeah,
Or the
some
flip side,
things
they don't
just
know.
take time.
Yeah.
It just takes time.
But just questions and things like that,
Yeah.
like you never know the conversation that you could start. Like I have a group chat for this thing that I'm doing for work, and the guy was just like, "Hey, let's see how active this chat is. Post if you could live the life of any animal, what would it be?" So then people start posting pictures, whatever. But then it led into people starting posting their pets. You know. And then, they're like, yeah, like I would love to be a cat and blah, blah, blah. And then eventually it was like, oh, this is my pet. This is my pet. Oh, hey, I have 2 cats. So like it went from just like what spirit animal do you want to be to like sharing what people had for pets.
Yeah.
But it's like it transgressed into something not completely different, but
For sure.
like you started sharing a little bit more personal things. Like,
Yeah,
hey, this is my
something
dog. Someone did like a family photo. So then it's like, oh, like, hey, that's your family. That's cool. Like, like it just like it expands so much further, just like we're doing right here. Like we just started simply and like we're already here,
Yeah.
Hour and a half, whatever
organic.
we're at, so it's like you never know where it's going to take you, and it's seamless. And to go back to what you said, like this is why I love doing this podcast, is because like we don't get paid for this, but like I soak in all the knowledge from all the guests that we have, whether they're rappers or fitness gurus or whatever place that they fit themselves into, actresses, actors, I just soak everything in and just sit here and I'm like, I could do this all day. Like, let's keep having conversations because this is dope. I'm just sitting here just soaking everything in, listening to everybody's talk. What do you got to say? What do you got to say? All right, cool.
Conversations through
Connections through conversations.
Yes.
Well, there's more
100%.
similarities than not, I think, just not only in the human experience, but through most of the guests that you've had on. Like, you can always find common ground, especially like in just our conversations tonight, how much common ground there is between like being a music artist or like a fitness content creator or an actor. Like, I feel like we still view things from a very similar lens.
I was just gonna say that.
Like,
Like
I
you're
almost
in
wanna-
my head right now.
Like when, cause I know as I know that everybody here, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So when I'm on stage, I am almost viewing from like 3 different lenses, and from what I call an actor lens, but you can call it an artist, whatever. Maybe we'll just say creative. Because I'm thinking of, obviously, what I'm doing in the moment. I'm thinking of how it's being perceived.
100%.
I'm usually not looking at the audience members, just in my case, because I'm acting.
Right.
I get it's different for you.
Yeah.
But I'm still very, like, peripherally, like, they're ever present. I'm paying
100%.
attention. Like, I am. It's almost like I am having an out-of-body experience and viewing them. And I know that sounds crazy, but you get what I'm
100%.
saying.
Oh, 100%.
And so it's very sensory because you're listening for everything that's going on. I'm sure you guys do that as an artist and a
Absolutely.
creator because you need to go off of whatever's, like, if you hear something going on, you know what I mean? Like, you need to be able to adjust in the moment for what's going on. So I feel like, yeah, you guys get that. There's just so many different things sensory-wise that you're taking in and taking account of.
Yeah, because like we're focusing on the music that's playing in the background. Like at the rap night show, like for some reason the beat skipped, but like at the same time, like I'm focusing on the crowd. I'm focusing on what's around me. I'm focusing on Murph, like him, side by side.
how you're moving, where you're
How
looking.
I'm moving, who
Yeah.
I'm looking at that moment. You know, what mannerism am I gonna do with this bar? And then all of a sudden, like at the same time, the beat skips, and I'm like, where am I now? And then like, and then you bring yourself back. You kind of like almost like step out for a second. You're like, okay, where am I at? All right, and then now I'm right back.
Oh,
into
yeah.
it. And I was
It's
like,
really an art
like-
of trying to like get everything, because
It's like a whirlwind.
whenever you're performing, you only have that moment that you are in
Yeah.
right there. So you're just like trying
Yeah.
to have that sail as smoothly as possible.
That outer body experience you're talking about, that's when
That's real.
my best performances. That's how I'm feeling like during my best performance.
you feel like you almost black out?
completely
And-
black out.
Yes. I know. Yes.
That's how
Like
I know
like
I
it's
have a
like you
good performance.
blink,
Like
it's like you
my
blinked and it was like, I don't remember what I just did.
Yeah.
It's almost like, for me, it's almost like if I'm not on autopilot, I'm not having a good show. Like if I'm not just like going and just doing, if I'm in a show and I'm like still like constantly like thinking about different things, like if I'm thinking about how is everybody looking at me, like all of those little things. Granted, like I'm aware of it. I'm aware of what people are doing.
Yeah, you're just
But if I'm thinking like, oh, this person's not paying attention. Oh, they're not really into it. This one's kind of raising their hand. This one, this. Oh, I'm not pronouncing my words. If I'm, Mo needs to get from behind me and get in front of me. Where is Mo? Why is he in the crowd somewhere? Like if I'm thinking of which is great, but but if I'm thinking about all those things, like I feel like I'm not in it.
Right, exactly.
My head is not in it. But if I'm in autopilot and I'm just like bam, bam, and it just feels natural.
It's just like you're just in that state of flow and everything's kind of.
Then I'm like,
when I'm spitting fast on stage, especially, like it's like a meditation moment. I just like take a deep breath and just go. I don't remember how I did it. Like in the moment, it feels like I'm not spitting anything. I'm just you know what I mean? Just
like,
in some kind of a void.
I love it.
I just keep going. Just at the end of the song, I was like, damn, whoa, yo, how'd y'all like that?
Yeah, like how am I getting these lyrics out?
Yeah.
Like certain scenes that I've done.
It's like that when I'm writing too.
Like I'll feel like you said, like you slipped into a void.
Yeah.
Like there have been certain scenes that I've acted that are so like just emotionally heightened. So to get to that place is just blackout anyways.
Yeah.
But then you feel like it's over in a second and you're like, did I just do that thing?
Yeah. It definitely like is a form of meditation too, because you're at peace with what you're doing. Like you love it so much that it's like nothing else matters, You're just in it, you're doing it, you're there.
I feel
aren't thinking about it as much.
Like let me know if this is true for you guys as well. And if it's not, whatever, I'll just be embarrassed. But I feel like some of the only times I am fully present in a moment is when I'm on stage. Because if I'm off stage, my mind's 50,000 different places. We joke around all the time about how our minds are like 50,000 different places and da-da-da-da. So like I feel like the only time I really ever am like 1,000% present is on stage.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Everything just centers in.
Yeah.
You sure?
You feel like, okay, I'm here. Let me make myself at home.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Exactly.
Like I'm looking at the crowd, like I'm moving through the crowd, like especially if like I hop off stage and stuff. But everything just feels like it's just right here, like just centered around lyrics. Looking at the crowd and what's happening with the beat behind me, and that's kind of where I'm at.
I ain't walking. I don't feel the ground. I'm floating. Like
Yeah, I don't.
Life is floating.
I love the post-show high. Like, I know we talked about, like, getting to that place energetically before a show. But, like, for me, after a show or performance, or actually even after these, like, filming, like, sessions, like, my energy will be so high. It takes me a really long time to decompress. I don't know about you guys, but, like, it'll take me a long time.
I get off
to
and
come
I'm
back
like,
down.
man, I want to go back on. Like, I know I could just, like,
I'll
kill
still be
this
up at like
10
4
times
a.m.
more.
Like, all right.
Oh my god, I know. That's when I go home. I'll like get chores done. I'll like start writing. I'll like do stuff because I'll be up till like 3.
It's like that like after a concert too. Right?
Yeah.
You got to keep the energy. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
it's hard to turn it off. Once
It
it's
really
on,
is. Once
it's
you're
hard
there.
to turn it off.
Yeah.
I'm with that. I've been meaning to say though, boys. Only because you're not on the track, Kayla. So I say that.
I'm not offended.
I'm always quick to preface. Get up out the way. That is my jam.
Oh,
that
yeah.
is my jam.
It
That
goes
gets
hard.
me. That goes so hard.
No, I appreciate
That
verse
goes
was
so
fun.
hard.
That verse was so fun.
No,
Right?
seriously, like that's my favorite track from both of y'all. It just happened y'all are both on it.
That's why, like,
It goes like
It goes really
it gets
hard.
me hyped. Like I genuinely work out to it. Like
Yeah.
That's why I said like that verse, like one, like I challenged myself to make sure that I write everything, the end bars, all the same rhyme, and that's why I said like if I slip somewhere, and we had that conversation before, the muscle memory thing. Like if I say one word wrong, like it's over.
Could we get it? Could we get a joint album again? But you guys just like destroying beats.
I think that
Like
would
you guys
be
just
awesome.
like
Yes, please.
going ham.
You guys,
Absolutely.
I know y'all. Okay, now here's like the fan of me coming out. I know y'all are men of God. I know y'all are good, like God-fearing people. You know you're very inspirational, and you guys have great hearts. I want to hear you murder some shit
Say
over and over and
freaking
over and
less,
over
bro.
and over
Say
and over
less.
and
I'm not gonna-
over.
yeah.
Come like not coming with like 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying, shooting up someone.
Yeah.
Not
energy.
like Don bars.
But
No
just
Don
like-
bars.
But just like talking your shit, you know,
yeah,
just like
talking
braggadocious
your,
type.
just like talking your shit.
Yeah.
just
Some of my-
talking
yeah.
your shit.
That's what I try to do more for sure.
Even like better than
That
nothing.
helps
is
me keep the
still-
juices flowing and everything.
Yeah.
Even like better than nothing is like I don't want to say soft. I use that very loosely.
Yeah.
But like as like more mellow of a song that is, like I think we definitely just like attack it and like aggressively, even though it's such like a calmer song.
Yeah.
Like we're just like
Just like my grind mode,
Yep.
verse.
Dude.
Put this in the video. You about to see my face again. YouTube and Vimeo. I can never milk this shit like cereal. That shit finna spill yo into the metaverse where your DNA chromosomes will go never work. Like that
I
type
like
of
when you do
shit.
shit like that. No,
Yeah.
when
No,
you rap
can tell,
double time,
can you tell I
you go
listen to
hard.
that? I'm
Yeah.
just like,
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
energy.
Hell yeah.
yeah, better than like it's one of those songs. It's like super chill, but like when we hit the verses, it's like yeah. Eyes closed, rather die on my knees than to give in to these needs. Bottomless stomach, that's what it feeds. Come to the breeze.
Can you do more of that?
yo, can we get the double time flow, man?
Yeah,
Hell
can
yeah.
you like
Bro.
please?
All right, let me see if I can think of something right now.
Yeah, we-
where I can just
Now that your boys are getting into
Or
it.
just like on an album would be great too. Either way, we'll be
let's see how
happy.
long I can go
Take
without.
the time.
Yeah.
Love
No,
the Kim
because like
siblings.
it's I love as a fan, right? Like love when I hear artists that I'm a fan of. Well, first off, like put out like different things. Like for example, like I love Lil Baby, but I would be the first to admit that if I'm looking for range, I don't go to Lil Baby. You know what I mean? I go to Baby to turn up and probably work out too.
Yeah.
But for the most part. But if I really want range, if I'm with Kendrick or Cole, who gives me everything, cool. Like this artist that can do, and that's not even a slight too. It's just listen to the music, you'll hear it.
Yeah.
And like I said, like I love it. I'm a fan, but I love when artists who have made music one way for a while, like start doing a different type of with the music that they've done.
Yes.
That was 41st
You know
Ave
what
for
I'm
me.
saying?
That's what I told him.
No, I'm 40.
Yeah.
I really 41st Ave was.
That's
a really
what I
good
told
album.
him. I was like, you definitely, because he definitely had a lot with the beat selection, which is a much faster, like High Sky, Get Up Out the Way. Those ones, like those challenged me so much, and like
All or nothing.
All or Nothing.
Nothing. Good track.
Life handing me lemons. I'm
Bro.
making a picture to the side of, my music is on autopilot. I'm taking control in order to get like.
That took
I
several.
never,
Like
yeah.
that verse in that song in All or Nothing, that took several months, like almost a year to write.
Oh yeah.
That one verse,
Yeah, because it was such
very very in depth.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
is
hear
the
you can hear that type. Sometimes you can hear like the detail and like that people put in into music for sure.
Yeah,
Into music for sure. Like I remember that's what always get me so excited about Kanye's albums because they were all different. Like none of his stuff like sometimes he would give you like a little bit, right? But I remember when are you guys Kanye fans?
Yeah.
Before
Yes.
I know Kayla is, but like because I
obviously not as a person, but like his music, like I've
We're just
always.
talking
I'm
happening.
keep,
Yes.
I'm gonna keep
Absolutely.
Separate the man from the music.
I keep it
Mainly
to the music.
music.
I keep it to the music.
I love
what
his music.
But I'll be the first to tell you, man, I love Chris Brown's music. I'm not following Chris Brown as the person ever.
Yeah.
Role
Oh, right, but as an
model-wise.
artist,
you know what I mean? As an artist, though, man, I love your music.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I respect what they've contributed.
I've
you know
heard-
what I mean,
I've heard-
to the music industry.
I've heard people
I'm sorry.
people tell me
Not
like
that they're bad.
It just sounded like an
Well,
HR
well, it's
answer. I'm
like
sorry,
it's
I
like
just laughed.
it's who
I just want to say that I really appreciate it.
I really respect what these gentlemen have contributed. I'm sorry, just was funny.
The HR answer.
The HR answer. Well, I'll use ball reference, right? Like, I really on the court, I love how when it comes to like basketball IQ and what he contributes. I actually really like Draymond Green's game. How Draymond Green acts, I can't
terrible,
stand.
Toxic person.
You know what I mean? Like it's like you can totally separate them.
Like
when I go play ball, I tell people like, "Yo, let me just play the Draymond role, play defense, I'm gonna facilitate." But like, I can't stand how he acts. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like,
I mean, sometimes he uses it the right way, but like right now, it's
no, but now it's like, bro, like,
the downfall of the team isn't gonna be because of him.
yo,
it's like the dude from the Grizzlies too.
And he can come to the Celtics.
oh my God, Dylan Brooks.
Bro,
he can't even clean Draymond's jockstrap. That dude, he's terrible. No, he's bad. He's bad. Like NBA standards is bad.
Yeah, it's just
bad.
Yeah.
Crap. What was I gonna say? I totally had a thought. Here we go, just talking shit. What were we talking about before? We're keeping
being immersed in stuff. We're talking about All or Nothing. You were talking about Get Up.
No. So like, I love when
Kanye.
Like when Kanye would come up with different stuff, like his good music stuff. I don't know if you remember when My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, when that whole run started and that album came out and the music came out for that.
Yeah.
It was totally. I remember I was just like, he had never put out music that was like grimy, like that. And dark, that it was just a totally different energy, but it was great. But I still love College Dropout. I still love his Jesus. Like, he talked about Jesus. I love it all. But it's just like when artists who are really good in what they do give you something new that you know they've worked on and that they're in their ability to do. It's like it's not going to not be good.
Right.
It's really hard to be bad. Even Lil Wayne's like pseudo rock album was actually really good.
I love that album.
You know what I'm saying? Like I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
For what it was, like, am I supposed to look to him like he's Bono, or no?
It's not what he was going for.
Or John Bon
anyways.
Jovi? No. Am I supposed to look at him as like Steven Tyler from Aerosmith? No.
Yeah.
But he's trying something new sound. He was really into it, and if you're open, it's a good album.
Absolutely.
Good music's just good music.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And all creatives are going to want to try something new. You can't just like
100%.
stay doing the same thing. It
Right.
gets boring.
That you there's no growth after a while from it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, we talked about that on episode 50, like, being known for something and then, wanting to kind of get outside of that. And,
It's like Linkin Park. Like to some extent MGK. Like I really liked his like full punk rock album.
Yes.
That one was, I forget the name of it, but
I don't think I've ever listened to that, man.
Downfall. Tickets to My Downfall.
Tickets to My
Is it
Downfall.
no?
Tickets to My Downfall.
Some of the stuff in between, I was like,
I wasn't feeling it at first, but then like I actually like sat down. I'm like, okay, let's really like
This is gonna
dissect
sound.
this. It's not bad.
let's go.
This is
Let's
gonna
hear
sound
it.
so mean. No, but like I mean this as a compliment because like I'm an Eminem stan, so like I don't mind saying that.
Same.
But I think like I actually really like MGK though. I like the music.
yeah.
I like the music he puts out. But the music he puts out now, I feel like is way more in tune with who MGK is in his heart.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I
could
mean?
see that.
Like the
You could see
hard
that
rapper
coming up.
stuff. It's like, dude, you can rap, but at no point was it ever like, psst, bro, didn't grow up in a trailer park,
Right.
let alone the hood. You know what I mean? Like I've
Right.
never felt that. I'd never felt that.
Yeah.
But I mean, he showed it too. It was like he's like, I'm gonna do rap, but like on the other side, like Kelly Vision. Like if you ever watched the Kelly Vision series that he did, like you saw that full punk rock stuff. So it's like you knew it was there, but it was like I'm gonna do hip hop or rap first.
Sure. No, it's
Right. Yeah.
But then like when he did Tickets to My Downfall, I'm like, I'm not surprised.
no, it was good.
Right.
Like as a punk
like
rock
Bob
album.
Barker, like
He
Blink
loved-
182 was like his like jam. I was
He's
like,
always
I'm not
loved that
surprised.
kind of music too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not surprised.
Oh,
Punk
yeah.
pop, whatever you want to call it. Like it's, you said, Kayla, like good music is good music.
Yeah.
I don't like when people talk bad about artists who are doing what they're doing at a very high level.
Right.
Because it's to say it's not like good. Like I'm a Jordan, I'm a Kobe guy, but I'd never be like, yeah, LeBron's a terrible basketball player.
Right.
That sounds
Yeah.
It's
boring
not
as hell.
terrible. It's
Right.
just
You know what I mean? Like, I'd never,
you
like,
gravitate
like,
to
it's
one
just-
more than the other.
Yeah, it's just who I align with more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Right.
in a big way. But would never disrespect someone who's like great, like genuine, like great. Because to a certain extent, it's like just look at stuff they put out. It's like, well, you can't keep doing this like after so long if you're not
Right.
really that good.
When someone pops off for the first time and you are still hearing about them 10, 20, 30 years, after that, there's a reason why they're still being talked about.
Yeah. Oh, something that I've come to learn from and just watching my favorite people that inspired me the most is longevity really is the name of the game, but not necessarily longevity in let's say the first thing that you were doing. It's just longevity in your passion is the game.
Yeah.
Which is why you can see people like get into all these different things, like 50 Cent now making now into TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He stopped really making music a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like really trying to make music like over a decade ago. You know what I mean? Like really like pushing.
The Massacre is one of my favorite albums.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
my all time. Yeah.
Is
That
it?
and Get Rich or Die Trying.
Okay, I was gonna say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Kids these
Massacre
days will
was-
never understand how big 50 Cent was for a 5-year stretch.
Oh, for sure.
G Unit.
02 to
G-Unit was
07.
where it's at.
People think, and I will admit, first 09 to 09, 08, 09 to 2013, 14, Lil Wayne, biggest thing. 02 to 07, 50 Cent.
As soon as he popped off,
Bro.
as soon as he
I'm so
dropped
happy I
like
came up on that.
in the club,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it was like you
Dude,
couldn't
King
go
D.
anywhere without hearing.
You know what?
love that song.
As ball fans, you know what you guys are gonna love what I'm about to say. 50 that at the same time, right? Kids will never understand. People will never understand this part of time just to be a fan of this. 50 Cent and Allen Iverson at the same time.
Yeah,
Like, you want to talk about like culture? You want to talk
Yeah,
about
that's
swag and just like
Seriously.
influence?
That's true.
Dude, those two guys alone over a 5-year stretch have never influenced more suburban white kids to put
Kids were
braids
getting
in their
cornrows,
hair, throw
braids.
oversized
I'm
jerseys and
dead.
shirts on. Them two alone, you know what I mean? Like,
50
Yeah.
had great artists too.
you know, crossing over, like
Yeah.
everyone was trying to just be able to dribble and
dude,
shoot. Oh,
people think Steph's big now. These kids, these people from this generation did not see AI
Right.
in what he did.
Uh-huh.
And he never even won a championship. He was just
Right.
that. He was just that dude. He just.
he was
a
one of
good
those
point.
people. Like he deserved.
You can also go back to the Fab Five too,
Oh, bro, Jalen and them,
That was a whole culture switch in college basketball and beyond as well.
100%.
Yeah.
College basketball used to be. I mean, it's still
That's when
pretty
people
good,
started to
but-
play with more grit.
Bro, like it's just. I love these type of things. Like to be. Circle this all back in. Like I love being a student of all these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what makes people like pop, and then what makes people able to sustain or be able to like transfer and move into something else, it's all the same. It's just always packaged differently.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a beautiful thing. I remember I heard Wayne on a podcast, the I Am Athlete podcast. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it.
No.
Chad Ochocinco, Brandon Marshall,
I'll have to check it out.
and he was talking about he was asked about his like process and like what he I think it was a question around what he considered himself as, but I'd never had I'd never heard someone say something that I aligned with more when it comes to that, because he was talking about it like, yeah, he's a rapper obviously, but he's also like he's this entrepreneur. Like he starts going down the list, and, but the way he explains it, he goes, I'm this, but I'm also this / //////. He goes to a point. He talks about how like you get to a point where you just start doing so many things that you become all the things that you're doing.
Right, yeah.
And so people will always remember you though for what made you, big, or what made you, hot in the first place. That's what people will remember you for.
Right.
Even as you've expanded
Yeah.
into all these things.
And like, that comes from like always having that mentality. You start with something that's like, okay, like there's nothing you can do or say that can veer me off of this, like,
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
It's like, okay, why can't I do this? Okay, I've done this, so now I'm gonna do this. Like,
Yeah.
why not?
Bro, like everyone, even like I just like using references people like mean something to them. Bro,
Yeah.
J. Cole's ascension to me like when what he's been able to do now solidifies himself. I would argue, and I'm such a Kendrick guy, I would argue, the GOAT of this generation. Simply because I'm not even like, music's one thing. That's cool. Production's one thing. That's cool. Look at his label.
Oh, yeah.
How you never see an artist, like a rapper, be able to not start a label, grow, cultivate, produce, and really build up an actual label and other artists to be their own thing and big act. Dreamville is such a behemoth.
Yeah.
And to be successful as long as it has, like you've had, like Death Row Records and stuff like that, like they imploded, within reason, like fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Retrospectively compared to Dreamville, where like it's just the pie chart, not the pie chart, but the scale is just
100%.
consistently going up.
Yeah.
We're in a culture now where like if you own a record label, like it doesn't have to be like just music. It can be like other things as well, like a bunch of other different creators like on the same thing,
Dude, and that's why like I've seen that and I was like, yo, J. Cole, that is the blueprint to so many things on what you've done. Because it's like, dude, if they all fuck with them, you know what I mean? Like you can't find anyone. It's so crazy, but like you can't find anyone say one disparaging thing about J. Cole.
Yeah.
You just can't. Even his music. You can't. Like, it's so, like, if you do it, to be like, dude, what's wrong with you? What the hell's wrong with you?
He's also played professional basketball.
Yeah, like, dude, he literally has. He literally has. Nah, man, he's different. Like, I've seen that. I'm just like, dude, like, that's why, like.
Even, like, bigger artists, like Shady Records, like, just look at Slaughterhouse, for example. Like, and everything that they went to with Shady Records, like, that's like a stain on how everything went through because it just didn't. That is
because I got to be objective. My biggest critique that I would ever give M is he, outside of 50, I mean, that's a really big get. He's had trouble developing other acts.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Right?
That's
because that changes.
And I've heard that before.
Because that changes the conversation. To me, he's still one of my he's still top 5 to me. I'm still a stan.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all these
sure,
things.
For sure.
But like that's why like, and as a rap, like, no one can see that white boy in rap. Absolutely not. People got to go watch 8 Mile. You know what I mean to understand. Right. But he had not developed artists to the even Dre, Dr. Dre it's better at finding and producing big acts. And M's not for a lack of trying.
Yeah.
Also,
the student
like not for a lack of trying. Teacher. Like I remember he stamped Yellow Wolf, and I was like, really? That's what we're doing?
Yeah, I like Yellow Wolf
like,
too.
Not that I don't like, but I was like,
yeah.
All right, this is who you're gonna tie this era to right now for you. Like, okay, like cool. I guess passing the white rapper baton. It's unfortunately he wasn't connected with like Logic or something. or someone else. You gotta, pass the light skinned rapper baton to. But Griselda now is best one. I don't know if you guys are fans of Griselda, but Benny the Butcher and Conway the Machine and them boys, they're great. They're great. It's been a little different now, but I even look at like what Kanye did with good music. I remember I got into this big argument like years past with someone because I argued that good music was a better label to work under than Young Money. And my argument was, look, if you're just keeping it to the top 3, I got nothing for you because I'm not fucking with Wayne, Drake, and Nicki. That's not what I'm saying, though. If you take them out of the picture, name me another artist under Young Money who's really doing anything. You can't. But then if I look at good music, I had
everyone's hitting.
Everyone. You had Pusha. You had 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz did stuff under.
Big Sean.
You had Big Sean. He signed Tiana Taylor. Tiana Taylor's great R&B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you just go down the list. I was like, no, Kanye's great at spotting talent.
Oh yeah.
He knows how to. That's a gift. Like he is a musical genius. He just can spot.
I believe that too.
Talent. Yeah. He knows it when he hears it.
Yeah.
I think the only one that maybe comes close is Tyga. Maybe. Because Tyga was up there.
Oh yeah.
He was.
What are your thoughts?
Okay.
Share.
But again, in comparison to the level of success of everybody else on good music, obviously.
Yeah.
The only
it's
thing I
without
don't
question.
see, like Tyga's nice, but the only thing I don't like about him is he's too gimmicky. Like
So this was my
he's
thing.
so
This
much
is why
better
I
than
say,
how
like,
he displays himself.
I love talking music. This is why I always say about Wayne, Nicki, and Drake. If I put them all in, and why I bring up the other artists, because Tyga doesn't have range.
No, it's the
Tyga
same.
can make one type
Yeah.
of song.
I know,
Yeah.
and it's hot.
Yeah.
He makes great.
hot.
He
It
makes
is
great
good,
party
yeah.
music. He
Yes.
makes great song for bitches to feel. I feel like they're having fun.
He's got like
Right.
one tone too.
Right, one tone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One tone.
But that's
Who
all
knows
you're
how
getting
if
out
he
of
writes his bars or not? Like, you know what I mean?
They're so simple.
Good looking dude though. Charisma.
Yeah.
Right? Not saying it's bad. I'm just talking about the music where it's just like, all right, if I'm putting Tyga up against I won't go Big Sean, but if I put Tyga up against Pusha, like
I'm taking
as party music,
Yeah, I'm
I'll
taking
probably go with Tyga. As everything else, I'm absolutely going Pusha.
It's just more versatile.
I get that.
Yes.
But then you look at longevity too,
Yeah.
bro. Actually, fun fact: did you guys know Pusha T wrote a McDonald's jingle? The ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Look it up. He actually did, bro. You want to talk about like
he wrote that.
yeah? You want to talk about doing stuff
No,
like
it's
the
a
I'm
good
loving
one
it?
out there.
Pusha wrote that. I swear, he's talked about it multiple times.
That's incredible.
I'm
I
gonna have
had
to
no
Google
clue.
that now.
Crazy, right? No, it's crazy, right? And so like saying stuff like that, it's like, oh wow, you really like, damn, there's a lot of talent under here.
Right.
That's crazy.
There's a lot like,
wow.
yeah, I know.
You never
he's
know
talked about it.
sometimes.
I mean, it's actually a really great listen to talk about because he talks about how like the financials around it too, because he didn't get paid as much as people would think. Just think of how long ago that was. Think of like who he was at the time. It's like,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, doing something now as opposed to doing something like what 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
But yeah, no. So like, when I really look at people, I'm like, can you develop in terms of like that level? And like J. Cole's done it, Kendrick's done it a little bit, but if we're expanding just out of as an artist, right, not as like a label,
Yeah.
head or anything like that. It's hard.
I think that's like
It's so hard to actually do.
yeah, that's like definitely like the next thing I wanna. Because I mean, one day I would like to own a label. I want to know how to bring on talent and stuff like that, and where to go with it, and
Dude, exactly. It's
I'm very intrigued by it all.
I love that you just said that is in knowing a little bit of the stuff you guys are doing. I love that as artists, you're not just looking at what you're doing as like, oh, I'm just gonna make music.
Right. Like we're also thinking
and that's the one thing
Yeah.
you're putting what you're doing into. Like
There's
say,
other visions.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're actually really trying to grow what you're doing, still keeping it to music.
yeah.
Passion's still in that, and of course it all starts somewhere. But the fact that you're even saying that, it's like, damn, like I think of so many people, it's like, oh, like they say they make music, but it's like they're not talking like that.
Yeah.
They put out a couple tracks, and it's like, oh well, whatever.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Like with our platform, like ultimately we want to help other people elevate as well through the same thing or whatever else they're doing.
Yeah. Because I think like you can find talent anywhere. Who knows who you'll find.
Yeah.
Right.
Who you can come work with.
Right.
And things you can spot. Dude, people, do you guys know who Meek Mill learned under early in his career?
Rick Ross?
Go back further. I only know this because all the stuff because of how big into battle rap I am.
Oh, okay. I have no clue actually.
Cassidy.
The what?
He was
okay.
an understudy of Cassidy.
Really?
Look it up, bro. Look it up. Going back going back to like 07.
Cassidy
Okay.
Cassidy was incredible too.
Right?
Cassidy was dope.
I love
Cassidy was
Cassidy.
dope. No, look at both from Philly. There's a video I vividly remember in my mind. Yeah, dude. I love Cass. But yeah, Meek Mill was an early understudy of Cassidy.
No kidding.
People don't know that. Like people don't know that. And like I randomly think of bits of like random information like that, thinking like, wow, people can really like find someone anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just, like,
Yeah.
Big facts. Big facts.
Because like, just look at what that turned into. You know, whatever happened with that, but then went to work Ross and he's doing other things, and just like how things can grow. I mean, you know, Fat Joe could have signed Eminem. I don't know if you ever heard that story.
Heard that, yeah.
Fat Joe had a chance to sign Eminem.
I think I've heard
miss.
a little bit of that.
Big miss. You know,
but then again, you never know because you don't know what talent level he would have reached under Fat Joe versus
100%. Yeah, no, there's so many.
Like, who knows?
So many
There's so many what ifs. I forget who it was. I know there was a few others. Crap, yeah, there's so many what ifs. Oh, do you guys know who 50 Cent was supposed to collab with right before he got put in jail? Like there was a single that he was coming out with. Mind you, this is going back like to like 2000.
Oh boy.
Yo, you ready for this one? I heard this. I heard them in an interview. Destiny's Child.
Shut up!
Fucking
I
I
swear to
heard
God.
He was gonna be on a Destiny's Child.
Wow.
That's
What?
hysterical.
And then he went to jail, and then no one would touch him until he linked up with M and Dre.
Yo, that is
Wow. I can't even imagine that.
God. The things.
Like this stuff
Things
is
we
great.
don't know, man.
Like, yeah.
I think I
crazy.
actually heard that song too. Back in the
Yo, that would have slapped.
Lime
I want to
so
hear it.
hard.
Lime
I want to
Burgers.
hear it. That's awesome.
Oh man. What else you got?
Oh, man, I don't know. Man. I'm trying to think. Can you time listen to a lot of shit?
we can get deep into this.
Bro,
Mike is gonna kill me.
I'm like,
what time
we-
is it? Oh, we can.
Mike is going to kill me.
Shout out
The
40
night is still
Studio.
young,
Shout out Mike
y'all.
Hasselak. Wait, what time is it?
9:20.
Oh, sorry, Mike.
I got one more. I got one more.
He's like, whatever, Mike. I got one more.
Sorry, Mike. Sorry, Mike. I owe one more. This is. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, Lewis. I know I mentioned this to someone around here, though. I'm such a Boston homer, right? Like I got Boston tattooed. This is actually Jaylen Brown's brand here, the Juice brand. I love repping anything from this place. And I've believed for the longest time that the best talent in the world, in the country, let me phrase that, the best talent in the country, people look at LA, people look at New York. Boston doesn't get the same amount of attention because of our proximity to New York. Because
I
there's
agree with
nothing
you.
that Boston doesn't have on a smaller level. It's just New York's the media capital of the world
I agree
because it's
with you.
media on steroids.
Yeah.
Right. But if you look throughout any industry, there's people from this area that are at the highest levels
Yep.
of every single industry.
Yep.
And it never gets talked about. And one of my favorite ones that I will bring up to people to remind people, and then I like to do this just as a light flex to show people like, nah, I really fucking listen to this shit, is the amount of rap talent that is in this state
I agree with you.
is
Oh, for
proven.
sure.
And it never
Yep.
gets brought up when rap is talked about.
I
It
wholeheartedly
never gets
agree
brought
with
up.
you.
We can go now. You can go to, and what level do you want to do it at? We can go joiner. We can go token. We can go Bia. We can go Millies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the amount of talent, music talent that exists here
Oh, hell yeah.
is
It's crazy.
is incredible. It's
insane,
And
yeah.
even and all as big as like those artists and what they're doing have become, in my mind, on my soapbox and what I do, feeling like the way I do about my stuff, I'm like, damn. And they could still even be bigger, right? And I've literally thought to myself, like, if they could be like that, like there's probably so much more talent around here than
You're absolutely right.
that has yet to be discovered and has its own story, and like everything just kind of wait to come up. Like that makes me so mad. Like people don't understand like those four alone are at levels of rap and music that people can only aspire to right now.
Yeah.
Right now. Joyner's worked with all the GOATs. Token's one of the biggest indie artists in rap, you could be. Millie's works directly with Jadakiss. And is super
B is what, like,
successful
Grammy nominated right now.
and what he's doing for his lane.
You're talking
Bia is
about
not
Bia
just
Javier,
Grammy,
right?
What was that?
Bia Javier? Or
No,
who are
no,
you
no,
talking
no.
about?
Bia,
Bia.
BIA.
I don't know. I'm thinking of a different artist.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
And but she not just now has hits with Nicki and J. Cole. She writes. And I learned this because I just love because they're from here, and so I love listening to stuff that they're on and interviews that they're on because they're from here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like they're from Mass and they're from these parts. They're from Medford. They're from Worcester. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm waiting to hear someone from Lowell or like from from these parts.
Yeah.
And I remember she was saying that like Nicki put it out there that Bia writes for so many of these artists.
Wow, that's incredible.
Out here too. Mm-hmm. So, but she ghostwrites for the industry as well, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good, like
that. Wow.
So good, and I've loved, and I love. I'll leave it off on this because I'm me as like much like positive energy I try to give. Like I really mean this because like I use it for myself because I think about that kind of stuff all the time. It's like the biggest. It's like. There's so much proof that like, damn, even from around these parts, like you can do something, right? Because this isn't like this.
Yeah.
This isn't like, East bumfuck Oklahoma or Arkansas.
Yeah.
No offense, because there are. I mean, there are some like boony areas of Mass, of course. Like it could be in many states, but there is. If you're from Mass and you have talent. You really have talent, it'll come out. You really have skills, it'll start to come out.
I think
it's
right.
too proven. It is too proven.
Yeah.
It's too proven.
I agree.
And the one thing I love most about like people that any do anything around this area, and I've I've been a dick about this to some people from like different areas as well, is that people from Mass, when you have success, it's way more communal. Right, because most places you go, if you go to people, you look at people. I'm not even like you look at anyone that has success, and they go to move in L.A. Look at anyone that has success, or they go to New York. Look at anyone that's ever created the highest amount of success from Mass. They come back.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Yeah.
They do.
Mark Wahlberg, Adam Sandler, Bill Burr, Joe Rogan. Right, I can keep going. I'm just naming the people off the top of my head who's like, do what they do at the highest level.
Stephen Colbert from Mass or something.
I don't think he's from here.
Certain people don't necessarily have to be from here.
Yeah,
as well.
look at David Ortiz.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
Poppy.
Yeah.
People that really
Garnett.
feel like they're a part of this community, bro. They rep it hard. They don't give a fuck. They come back.
Yeah.
It's a part of them, and it's like the most beautiful thing. So I'm just like, damn, I just want so many more people from around these areas to like blow up because it's just different. Like it's just different.
You're right.
It's just different.
Boston's an amazing city as a whole.
Dude, Boston's
I
dope.
fucking love
Like
Boston.
Boston's
Yeah.
dope. I keep saying like people think of Boston just because of dumbass like movies and entertainment, thinking everyone's from Southie and it's white Irish Catholic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like it's absolutely, but it's like the most diverse place.
It really is.
For real.
I gotta stop that. I can keep going on because now I'm like hyped, but I'm gonna go help Kayla move her bed around.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, that came out wrong. I'm gonna help Kayla because she asked me beforehand. She needed help moving stuff. That sounded so fucked up.
That's hilarious.
That sounded awful. That sounded awful.
Listen, I am helpless.
Saying that
and
about
I
my
need
sister.
to
Jesus
recruit my
Christ.
little brother to help me move things because every independent woman bone in my body leaves when something breaks or needs to be moved. So, thank you.
And on that note, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to episode 54 of the Right Mind Wednesdays podcast. It's been a wonderful treat to have all of you here. I'm sure you will enjoy everything that has happened here tonight.
Until next time, my name is L.Y.F E. This is J Face.
What's up?
We have Kayla Schenk, and we brought on Chris Poirier.
Kim. Until next time, even though the camera's not on right now, but I'm still pointing to it. Anyways, appreciate everybody for tuning in. God bless. Have a great night.
Thank y'all. Thank you guys for having me.
Actually,
Appreciate you. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
chopping it up.
100%.
Anytime.
Appreciate you coming in. But yeah, till next time, MOCG Media Production, right here at 41st Studios, Right Mind Wednesdays podcast. We'll catch you next time.
Peace
What's
out.
up?
Bye.